Congratulations, officer.
Number one, anyone that's been watching my channel knows that I'm not black conscious. Neither do I baby, spoil, or agree with black people.
I'm so hoarse. Just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Oh, I can breathe. Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
That's another dumb thing that black people jump. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
Leroy Cruz. Black. Next to every good black person is a fuck. I just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Yes, I can hear because of all you've done in me. Now that's just a piece of the song. Look here, you stepped into Dragnuts territory. I'm the mob, nigga. I'm the mob, nigga.
I love me some white people.
I'm superior than a lot of blacks because I follow the right culture. I'm the mob, nigga.
I love me some white people.
You know, I've seen these atheists act like a bunch of fags. I'm the mob, nigga.
I love me some white people.
A woman flashing her beauty. That's like walking in a room with dog treats. Like, why are you bringing those in here? Are you trying to tease me with treats, or what are you doing? And even clean. I think women are naive.
I love Jesse Lee Peterson.
Hey folks, I was looking over shit and I accidentally hit the button, so oh well. I was looking at shit for games. No, I can't pass you your Switch thing. No, I cannot. What is your Switch thing? What? This? Yeah. This here? Okay. This? I think it's still plugged. Is it? You don't need this? Okay. Okay, there we go. It's mine. Okay, there you go. You can have that. Why do you want to play your Switch all of a sudden? Okay. Well. I was reading shit, and I forgot that I had that key bound to my back button, so. Yeah. Did your game come out today? You playing Animal Crossing?
7 years.
You waiting 7 years for this game. That's why you that's why you not at work. You really
7 years.
You really got
Yes. I
you
shouldn't be at work.
you-
Rona's out there. I should not be at work.
you requested off work so you could play your game all day.
I requested 2 weeks ago before this
You requested 2 weeks ago
2 weeks
to
ago.
be off from work so you could stay at home and play Animal Crossing.
Yep, sure did. 0 It's a half a day. I don't even work the first day.
That's why you wouldn't tell me why you requested off.
Sure did. I don't care. I deserve it. I work every day. And don't at me either.
This is why women are naive.
Don't at me.
Out here flashing their beauty.
Don't at me. Who's judging me? Don't care. Waited 7, 8 years for this thing.
You just gonna play it for a week and forget about it, so I don't know why you even did that.
I played Animal Crossing longer than a week.
Okay.
You want to see my one on my DS? How many hours I put into that
You
one?
just started playing it again. You didn't touch that game in like a year.
This one is the best Animal Crossing. I actually got more stuff to do.
You got more so you can go catch bugs and
Yep.
be in
Get
debt.
rewarded for it.
That whole game, I sat and watched you play it. You're in debt.
Watch this.
You're in debt the entire game, and
This
you're
one's
catching
different.
bugs and shit.
This one's different.
Everyone different?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be in
Change it
debt,
up.
and you're
Yeah,
not
you're
gonna.
gonna be in debt. But they
Oh, you're gonna be in debt. You gonna catch bugs?
Yes, they gotta catch
There we go. Okay, like I said,
But you get rewarded for it. It's not just
you get rewarded for being in debt.
Yep.
So why does it seem more like your real life than the game?
Yep. That's why people like it.
Oh, because it reminds them of their real life.
Yep.
That defeats the purpose of playing the game.
Yep. You play The Sims.
My sim would have sex with a different bitch every
Okay,
night.
You know what?
Is that my real life? No.
Stop lying. You were not doing it in The Sims. Shut up.
That's what you think.
Shut up.
That's exactly what I was doing.
I watched you.
When did you watch me play The Sims?
Really?
When was this?
So you gonna try to act like you weren't playing The Sims back?
I was, but I didn't have a not at that point in time. I didn't even know how to swing all that. Literally.
The Sims 3.
Anyway. Yeah, for the I don't know what's going on with YouTube notifications. I don't know what's going on. Look, somebody knows the name of it too. And is it New Horizons?
Thank you.
Okay, somebody know. Okay, somebody knows exactly who she's talking about.
That's the MVP right there. Who that?
Mistress Angelica.
Yep. That's a bestie. Don't play.
They'll add each other on there so y'all can
Don't
catch
add
bugs
me.
together.
Waited 7-8 years for this game. Leave me alone.
You're gonna play it for a week and I ain't gonna hear about it. I'm eating the sausage, egg, and cheese croissants.
Killing my vibe. I took off. So I want my vibe killed.
No, I'm just saying you're just gonna play it for a week.
Okay.
It's gonna be a good week.
Just like Xavier brought you a game.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing it right now.
Oh, you're playing it right now.
So speaking of things that you know what's still sitting in the refrigerator since a week ago?
Yeah, I told you to get it. That time.
The
you asked for it 3 days ago.
the Mexican Coke that I kept saying that you were gonna forget, and it's still in there.
When you brought it up and said you were going to drink it 3-4 days ago, I told you to go and get it.
After every day prior to that.
When you talked about it 3-4 days ago,
Uh-huh.
I told you to go get it. So
I just left it in there just to prove my point. Just like I said,
4 days ago, I told you to
it was
go
gonna
get
stay in there a whole week until I said
4
something.
days ago, I told you to go get it.
That Mexican Coke is still in there.
3 days ago, I told you to
Yeah,
go get it.
I could have, but I'm gonna leave it in there for a little while.
And it's already 11:30. I'm off for work anyway, so I'm happy about being at work.
But that Mexican Coke stayed in there just like I said it would, didn't it?
I can't get this thing to
Just
work.
saying.
I'm
Is it-
supposed to be doing your stupid YouTube channel right now? Leave me alone.
Are you gonna break the HDMI cable? What's going on? Don't break it. I got so many of them.
What happens when you don't focus on your stupid YouTube channel? Focus on your stupid YouTube. Let me do me.
Oh,
Leave me alone. Play my game.
somebody send me on fucking Discord. Send me the video of Warning doing his mukbang. We're gonna watch that real
Can
quick.
you pass me a pen, please?
No, I can't pass no fucking pen.
Being
No.
obnoxious.
Being obnoxious. You've been doing that all week. It's being annoying. You've been waiting for the damn game. Just being annoying.
You started with me. Leave me alone.
She can't get on the mic. She likes to mumble.
Nope. Yep. I'm not part of your YouTube. I'm a YouTube content creator.
You're not YouTube. Exactly. Exactly. Somebody send me the Warning Good People mukbang, because I wanna show people something. Because I said this dude had an extra chromosome. Once you watch him like just something as mundane as sit down and eat, you'll see why. Buck Melanoma said all coke comes from Mexico. Don't you watch Narcos? No, I do not. But I get your point. Thank you. I get your point. What is his? Let me see. Let me try, because I think we all need to watch that, as people still aren't getting notifications. So, and I wanna sit and laugh at him. I'm not even gonna lie. I just want to sit and laugh at him.
They got the fan on. It's hot.
Fuck. He ends up spelling mukbang with two K's. There we go. I got it. Never mind. Y'all suck. Too late. You're too late, Keefa. You're too late. I already searched it. Someone please tell me why he holds his utensils like a 4-year-old. He doing a mukbang because we did one for Shani, and he wants attention. So I think it was Jello that pointed out to me that all the paintings in his background are like off, and he's right, they are. And I can't not see it now. I couldn't finish this. Why does he hold his fucking utensils like that? That actually bothers me. I'm not even joking. I'm not even fucking with y'all right now. That really does bother me. I have no idea why that bothers me. It's a random assortment of things too. Like chicken breast. What is that? Eggs, bacon. It's like some type of. Looks like kale, toast. I don't know what's going on in this plate. It looks like I think Fabio said he cooked the eggs in the grease that he used to make the bacon. Like, the bacon looks good. I'll give him that. It looks good. But he looks lonely as fuck. My man is not looking too good right now. He's not. I think this corona's getting to him. Contemplating life. Having an existential crisis right now. It's okay. It's okay. It'll be alright. Got some avocado toast. You can tell he's from California. God damn it. Just why do you hold? Why? I'm judging. I'm judging right now. I have a few guesses as to why I think he made this video. Some of us recently did a mukbang and he watches all of our shit, so now he's doing it. Just might be a coincidence, but he just wants some attention that's probably not negative for once, because he likes to say very inflammatory things, and then he gets shit for it, then he deletes it. Yeah, I'm not shitting on him for probably using like some of the bacon grease, but the way that the eggs look, it looks like they were starting to fry themselves in the I'm not describing it right. Having a bit of bacon fat. Just a bit. Less than you would probably use for like butter or something. It gives it that taste of bacon. But it looks like he used all of it. Like all of it. And it's just a soggy, nasty mess. Because I did that when I was a kid. Okay, I'll just not really clean it out. But like having just enough in there just to get some of that flavor. And then just to cook it a little bit.
There's some mushrooms as well.
Yeah, he's something about mushroom. Anyway.
Those are good.
I wanted to disturb people with that. Anyway, all right. So, sorry, folks, if you watch this later. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, that's DJ Warning. Good people. Yeah, that's him. There's something going on. I think that because everyone is on lockdown, and if you have not heard, California it's not under martial law, but it is under order by their governor to stay the fuck inside. If you ain't got to go out for essential stuff, keep your ass inside. So that's, I think there was already sort of something like that going on in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. And folks from California, feel free to correct me on that. But that was my understanding, that there was already kind of a voluntary order to do that in some areas. But now everybody from San Diego, even people in Barstow, but people in Barstow should keep their asses inside and not be seen outside ever in daylight. But anyway, if you're from California, you'll get that joke. So I think that YouTube is having a lot of traffic because people are inside, and whatever system they have in place to issue out all the notifications, maybe it's just being bogged down, and that's what's causing some of these issues. Or it may just be, well, fuck Dragnot, I don't know. But victimhood. So I had to stop this shit last time. I had to actually close it down because his ignorance was just getting to be too much for me. It's just too much, ruining my vibe, as my wife likes to say, and killing the vibe. Excuse me, whatever, killing the vibe. And I don't like that. I like to have somewhat happy days, and like to have some. I don't want my entire fucking day to be ruined by people's bullshit. So Spike says San Fran been locked down since last week. Now LA County. You can still go outside and go out, exercise, walk your dog. Okay, cool. That's okay. Thank you for clarifying that, folks from California. Somebody sent me a message. They said they just die laughing every time I go. I do folks. Every time I do that, folks. Look. I'm not saying it's martial law, but look, in Revelations tells about that, okay? Look, folks, I thought we were cool. Yeah, so D-Roy has he has a mindset that I am more than familiar with. It is that I have lived to a certain age in a first world nation, therefore I know every goddamn thing. And yes, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'm exaggerating just slightly. But there is a mindset. And it's definitely for older folks. And I say older, let me qualify that, my venerable elders. People who are at least 2 decades my senior, at least, minimum, tend to have this mindset. It also tends to go with a lack of formal education. Now, it may just be, it may just correlate, don't know, but it tends to be that way. And so to help offset this education that some of them lack, they feel reassured based on choice experiences in their life. So whether you have somebody who fairly educated, either formally or informally actually, who will make claims provisionally, who will have some type of system of checks and balances when they feel really strongly about a particular proposition. It's alliteration day, by the way. They'll kind of hold off on making a lot of these generalizations about stuff. Doesn't matter what the topic is. It could be about football. It could be about political parties, video games. It could be about lawn care, whatever. They'll hold off on that sort of thing because they know that their personal anecdotes probably don't represent everything that is out there, every permutation of whatever it is that they're talking about. But you don't see that with D-Roy. You see him have choice experiences in his life. And mind you, I don't doubt that he's had these. Let me make that abundantly clear. I don't doubt some of these stories he's about to tell. I think they actually happen. and I think they had a profound impact on him. I think somehow though that he has taken the 0.001% of people that represent whatever it is in that interaction, and then he's just expanded that across the entire realm of anyone who may fit that description. So if he has a choice experience with, say, a homosexual, and this homosexual is just a fucking degenerate, rather him just couching that and say, you know what, this is a degenerate ass person, it really wouldn't matter who they wanted to put their penis into. He just says, well, this is emblematic of this type of person, and that is terrible. That animal, Sam, is trying to get that stuff off of him. That is, someone's being cruel to that animal. Fuck you. Now everyone's wondering what I just looked at. It's the movie, the gif of that rat trying to get all the soap off himself. He is unusually bipedal. That is really good posture for an animal that is typically a quadruped. Actually, it's not a rat. That's I forget what that animal is. But anyway, I'm getting distracted because of shifty certain type of people that I'm not going to say. Anyway, I want to let DeRoy Cruz talk about some experiences that he's had. And I really want to preface what I'm going to say about him, because I've noticed that when I give commentary and when I spend a few minutes prefacing things, DeRoy skips over it because he can't pick anything out of that. I'm being very careful about how I approach the topic, such as the topic before about sexual abuse. Being very careful to phrase things a particular way and to fully elucidate where my position is on mentioning that sort of thing in public and all that kind of stuff. Every caveat in the world, he skips over that shit. It's not important. Any type of nuance or context that my statements or my positions, my opinions reside in, he skips over that because that's not useful to him. He needs to find something in order to misrepresent me. And some of you who have watched like my reviews and me somewhat interact, in air quotes, interact with him, you've probably noticed that he actually goes through great pains to misrepresent me. It is actually amazing how far DeRoy will go to misrepresent me. And I was actually talking to a gentleman who's a little closer to DeRoy in age, and he had commented about how quickly DeRoy latched on to, well, if you send me titties, well, I mean, you can do that. But when DeRoy was, Sam's trying to distract me. That's why he's trying to distract me. When DeRoy was mentioning his apology video, which really wasn't an apology. It was somewhat. It was a compliment sandwich, whatever. He somehow presumed that me mentioning that experience was like the crux of everything and anything that I am or will ever be. I'm not sure how I am somewhat sure based on what I know about him, but it's really weird. It's like if you told me that you fell off a truck as a kid and you broke your arm, and that, later in life, you're suffering from depression, anxiety, you've had a few marriages, you lost a business, and then me going, when you fell off that truck and broke your arm and it was really traumatic for you, that's why you are the way you are. Just ignoring everything else that kind of led up to how you are as a person, the divorce, losing the business. We're going to skip all that. All that, the pertinent stuff that most other people recognize. We'll just pick this one thing because it's simple. That's what DeRoy does. That's what this conversation I had with this other gentleman who will be unnamed because that pisses him off. But it is amazing. But it's not so amazing because that's what DeRoy does. DeRoy is simple. If you could phrase if you could offer one line to describe DeRoy, it is that he is simple. D-Roy is simple. And any way you might want to look at that phrase. He views things in a very black and white, very narrow, very myopic way. He doesn't understand that the universe, the world, whatever, exists in shades of gray. There's a gradient to things. Right? If you say, well, no one should lie. But, and here we go, everybody, hold on to your butts. If you have Nazis at your door, and you lie to the Nazis and say that you don't have any Jews in your attic, you do have a Jew in your attic because taxes or whatever, then you have lied, but you've also spared a tax attorney's life. So, you can't win. But that's, when we talk about shades of gray, that's the kind of shit that we're talking about. D-Roy doesn't see that. He's actually said that in everything, there's good and there's either good and bad, and that's it. That's an incredibly simple way of thinking about things. If you don't have to study philosophy to know that that's not true. You don't have to sit here and have these Google Hangouts with people with fuck it, let me not be petty. I'm just Friday, let me not be petty. Let me not be petty. Let me not be petty. Not everyone has enough testosterone to sustain themselves in manhood. Look, you've known in your experience as an adult that there are moral gray areas that exist. You have encountered them. You know other people who have encountered them. It's a fact of life. But for D-Roy, he is simple. He believes that there's a simple answer to everything. That's it. And that he has the answer. Now, how that helped him in his life, it's a mystery, but I wanted to make sure that I am very clear on the fact that I think that is a sign of how little D-Roy actually understands the world at large. Which is strange for an adult. Which is strange for someone who's had a jump start on their life by several decades. That I understand more about the world than he does. At least in this aspect. I understand that there are morally gray areas. And that things that are legal aren't necessarily moral, so on and so forth. But anyway.
Are very honest when they think they got you in their corner. When they think that...
Oh, actually. Let me see.
So, hey. Take a walk in my shoes, baby. Take a walk in my shoes, okay? Take a walk in my shoes. So there's a conversation right there, okay? Homosexuals are very honest when they think they got you in their corner. When they think that you accept them as they are. And they know this because either you're outnumbered by them and you have no choice anyway, or because you go out of your way to be friends with them and you think you know them, and then they become honest with you.
Okay. So some of y'all may be a little confused as to what he means by that. That homosexuals will be honest with you when they feel comfortable, when they don't feel, like a little threatened by you. Now, let me try to translate this the best way I can. And again, I have actually listened to this, so I understand the context. So he can't say that I'm going to misrepresent him. D-Roy is saying that your average homosexual puts on a facade for the public, and that they will lift the facade when they feel comfortable enough and show you who they really are, which nefarious individuals. I'm pretty sure y'all saw that coming, but he is under the impression, D-Roy that is, that there is an innate, nefarious, malicious nature to gay people, specifically gay men, and he will give you a specific example in his life as to why. But when, in his mind, you are in a group of gay guys and they don't feel threatened by you, they don't think that you're going to challenge them or rat on them or, you know, snitch on them, whatever, then they will show you the inner circle of gay. They will show you what they really believe. They'll show you their true selves, their true forms. They'll reveal their true forms. And so that's what he's trying to articulate here. That is what he's trying to articulate. And you're going to see, just to spoil it, he's talking about pedophilia. If y'all didn't know, if you're not familiar with D-Roy, he's talking about the fact that he thinks homosexuals are innately pedophiles. He is under the impression that homosexuals sort of pretend not to be, but at their core, they're all pedophiles in disguise. And that when they become comfortable with you, that they'll share the fact that they are pedophiles. So, yeah.
Okay? And if we really be honest, we will understand that equality garbage goes right out of the door. Ain't nobody equal. And these homosexuals have an agenda. They're not sitting around waiting for gay people to show up. They're not looking for preferences. They're not waiting on their preferences to show up. Homosexuals, it doesn't matter whether the person is gay or straight. But everybody is in debt to homosexuals. And I'm not just talking about equally, but I'm talking about sexually. Like, once you get them to be honest, once you get them to that place to where they're comfortable with you, they're going to make you feel very uncomfortable. Okay, I talked in the last video, the video that I messed up. I messed up on it. But I was talking about in the last video about how when I used to do porn, how the gays would come down and try to compete with the female prostitutes at the porn place. The female prostitutes wait on their customers to come to them. The gay guys go after their customers. And I mean, they go after their customers with their hands. I pulled a knife on a guy, okay, for touching me at a porn studio, okay? For putting his hand between my legs, okay? You cannot make this stuff up. I kid you not, cross my heart, so help me God. And you know what, that was the last time I was in there, when I realized that these homosexuals can come in there and have their way, and the management in that place didn't even want to investigate because they...
Okay, let's pause it right here. So when he says he used to do porn, okay, let me translate. He used to participate in like peep shows. Like if you've ever been to a porn shop, in the back of some of them, they'll have booths where you can go jack off and have orgies and shit like that. That's so kind of what he's referring to. I don't think you're gonna find D-Roy in, Black Midgets 9. Like that's not. I don't think that's what he's talking about here when he says he used to do porn. I think he means like a sex shop or sex area. His phrasing is odd, so it's kind of hard to tell. Again, he has a hard time articulating what he's actually saying or meaning. So you have to kind of read between the lines with this. And feel free, D-Roy, to clarify, when you say you do porn, okay, when I hear that, when other people who aren't you hear that, that sounds like you used to do amateur porn. You actually used to have sex with someone purposely on camera. That's what that sounds like, okay? When you say a porn studio and that there are prostitutes there, that's a different scenario. You're going to like a trap house to go fuck some hooker to go fucking get her fixed. Like that's a bit of a different scenario there. I know it's all the same to you, but it's hard for people to understand when you're conflating terms. Just a little FYI. So I believe he's just talking about like a sex shop. That's to my best knowledge. And it again, it's just look. There are some really aggressive folks. You're in an area, you're at a place of ill repute, whatever you want to call it. People are fucking each other, and for some reason, there's gay guys there too. I don't know why they'd be there. Anyway, some gay guy decided that he wanted some of your junk. He liked little black men. Okay.
Freedom.
I've had women sexually harass me.
Freedom.
Wait. Didn't True say he got stabbed by black men in a booth? Just putting 2 and 2 together.
I'm not even comment on that. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
BJ, what are you doing here? Well, hey, wait a minute. If I do want a BJ, I came here to look at porn, man. But if I do want a BJ, you know what I mean? The lady prostitute was very polite about it.
So okay, this is why I think he means he was in a sex shop or a the place wherever it is that you go for a glory hole and shit like that. They may be the same place. I don't know. I've never actually been. I don't know what they're actually called, but we'll call it a porn studio, even though I don't think anything's being filmed. Fine. So, just everyone's just going in, getting the dick sucked, leaving, whatever, right? Mouth smile. So this guy was exceptionally aggressive, and maybe he's found that works. He can get what he wants by being more aggressive. Okay, some people are more aggressive. There are women who are really aggressive about, sitting on a dude's face or riding his dick or whatever. There's all types of women who and I know women like that who do shit like that and who will stab a dude for not pulling out his dick. They may or may not be Puerto Rican, but it's okay. Awesome. You had a bad experience with a gay trick. Okay, D-Roy. None of us are shocked by that.
She was available if she was standing outside. She was available if I wanted something. This guy had to come and just walk on in the booth and be putting his hands on people. Come on, man. Come on.
I guarantee you this worked for him.
People that defend gays don't know squat about gays.
Okay, so let me stop you right there, D-Roy. Let me. There's something that I do need to clarify here. I think when you use the phrase defend gays, it means something different to the people who are actually defending gays. So if I said I defend women, I defend the rights of women. I don't defend any woman that I come across. Those are wholly different things. So when I say I defend gays, my brother is gay. Because I'm the oldest, the second oldest, he's gay. I will defend my brother when he's right, which isn't often. But I will defend his rights so that he and I aren't treated, or either one of us are treated as second-class citizens. Okay, so that's what, when you talk about defending someone, right? That's what is being referenced when people are defending the LGBTQ, the alphabet people, whatever you want to call them. People don't want them to be second-class citizens and to be treated differently just because of who they love. That's what the majority of us folks are talking about. Now, me personally defending the gay trick that you almost had to stab, no, I don't know who that is. I defend him to not be treated as a second-class citizen, but what he was doing was wrong. He shouldn't be putting his hands on you. I absolutely agree. So you using, and this is a prime example of what I'm talking about, D-Roy, you're using one example of some degenerate who did something to you because you're a victim to label every other person you've never met. So how about this, D-Roy? If I meet an older black midget and I don't like him, should I just take all my dislike of him and superimpose that on you? Would that be fair to D-Roy Cruz? Is he responsible for you? I want you to sit down and think about that for a second. And I'll use the same type of mentality that you have. Since who he is seems to align with who you are, then y'all must be the fucking same, right? Because that makes sense. That makes absolute sense. Because two people in the world resemble each other, either mindset, physical appearance, mental, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I connect. It doesn't matter. The dissimilarities. Doesn't matter at all. I connect you two. You two are joined at the hip spiritually. Quantum connection. So what he does is a reflection on you. What you do is a reflection on him. And y'all are responsible for each other, even though you've never met or had any influence on each other. Because that makes sense, D-Roy. That makes perfect fucking sense, right? No, it doesn't.
Really don't. You know what I'm saying? You say you're so fast to defend gays, but you don't know nothing about them. You say,
I've lived
have
with
you
one
ever
for
had a
20-some years.
conversation with gays? Yeah, some conversations they pulled me in that I'm sorry I ever had.
Oh.
Okay, and
Okay. This is important. This conversations he wish he never had. Y'all need to pay very close attention to what he's about to talk about here, because it's a trip.
I'm not just saying that all gays are perverted and all gays are child molesters. Not all, but in this community, it all depends on what community they're gay in. Like, if you...
Now we get a qualifier.
You know, if you go back to Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, you'd be surprised. You know what I'm saying? If you were to recreate Sodom and Gomorrah, and when I say recreate Sodom and Gomorrah, I'm talking about recreate a place where homosexuals are in charge and they can do what they want to do. Okay? They have their own communities. Okay? And when they have their own communities, and you say, well, have you ever had a conversation with the gays? Yes, I have. I had my best friend Eric.
Who are the gays?
He was one of my best friends who blew me away and changed everything I thought about gays the day he asked me to get into a threesome with him and a 9-year-old child.
Okay. So we went from him generalizing and saying, here's what gays will be like when they get comfortable with you. Right? That's the generalization that he's offered earlier in the video and before. Now he's trying to qualify it to say, well, it's not all gays. It's just when gays get in charge of things. That's when it comes out. So I'm not sure how that caveat really changed anything, because you're still saying the innate, or I should say the propensity for gays to do some nefarious shit, which here is pedophilia, is when they get in charge. Well, D-Roy, they would still have that inclination, right? That doesn't change anything. The inclination's still there. It's just the ability to do it has changed and to get away with it. So I'm not sure how that caveat really changed your generalization, because it's for one thing, you're still saying that gays are specifically gay men, are inherently pedophiles. You're still saying that. And you're saying now that, well, it's just when they have the power to be pedophiles. Okay? And you know this because your best friend Eric was gay and he wanted you to get in a gay threesome with a minor. Just let that marinate for a second. Let that marinate. Now, I don't doubt that this happened. I don't doubt that some degenerate who was really comfortable with D-Roy shared that with him. And that changed how he saw Eric. I'm not sure at what point did he think that Eric spoke for every other gay man that existed, or any other person, period, outside of Eric. That's the disconnect for me. That's where I can't make that connection, because here's Eric, here's everyone else. Outside of Eric liking penis and these other people liking penis, what connects them? So I know that my brother is definitely not into young cats at all. Not that I don't think he's even, I don't think he like guys his age. He likes older guys, especially well-built guys, because he's kind of fat. But my brother's proclivities don't extend to any other gay. My proclivities don't even extend to who y'all call dehydrated drag, which is the third in line, Lance. Lance's proclivities don't, like, he and I like a different type of woman. So, and we're blood relatives. So, I'm not sure how D-Roy expands that. I'm not sure where he gets that. It's really strange. Angry Russ, did he call the police on Eric? That's something that I was wondering. That is something that I'm very curious about, because I'm pretty sure him and Eric no longer friends, which I could imagine why. But did he have the wherewithal to go, hey, yeah, you might want to look into.
I stole $3,000.
You might want to look into this guy named Eric. He offered me some sexual tryst with this underage boy, and I'm afraid that he's probably already abusing this boy. So yeah, something tells me he just kind of shut his mouth about it. And I don't say that just to try and smear him. I say that because of how he's already spoken about what people should and should not discuss, at least when it comes to sexual abuse. His notion towards me to keep it hidden tells me that he has kept that hidden, at least from the authorities. Just that's why I say that. That's why I say that. Because somebody who is willing to speak about these sorts of things in public won't have a problem with letting the authorities know, letting the public know. Because let me tell you tell me you like having sex with minors, I'm gonna let everybody know. Yeah, I'm not keeping that secret. Sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, you need to go up under the jail. But I think D-Roy, and this, again, just based on what he told me, solely based on that is my opinion. I could be, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I absolutely hope I'm wrong. But Mr.
Okay.
Codwell.
I can't make this up. I can't make this up. First thing came to my mind is, how many of y'all, is this a gay thing or is this an Eric thing?
Okay, fair. That's fair. Is this a gay thing or an Eric thing? So, my first thought would be, well, who else gay that I know? Are they doing, is this other person doing this?
And then when I met some of Eric's friends, okay, depending on where these guys are at, they, you know what I'm saying? And then here's another thing. When I lived in New Kensington.
Okay, so he started a thought there. So, okay, let me speak directly into the camera here, because D-Roy loves when I direct myself to the camera. If you are a pedophile, and you can only talk about that amongst people you feel comfortable with. Now, let's think about this, D-Roy. Let's think about this. You have a secret that could possibly land you in jail, or beaten or killed, or all. Do you imagine that you would share that outside of other people who have those same sort of proclivities? Let's think about this for a second. If you were wondering, is this a gay thing or if this is an Eric thing? And you wanted to see if other people outside of Eric believe this, why would you go to Eric's friends? They're probably pedophiles too. It's not fucking rocket science, D-Roy. It's not. It's not rocket science. If you see me, I like to eat. I hang around Xavier. Guess what? Xavier likes to eat. My wife likes to eat. My cousin likes to eat. My gay brother, who is also fat, likes to eat. You're not going to go and ask, well, this whole thing about Dragnot, is he just eating everything? I wonder if this is something that people who live in Texas, they just, you know, this is a Texas thing. Let me go and ask his cousin who's lived in Texas even longer. So you probably want to go outside of my sphere of influence to someone who maybe doesn't live where I live or is really associated with me to see if it's a Texas thing. Like, I'm trying to use an example to lighten the mood here, but it doesn't make, like, D-Roy's ability to think is hindered at some point. I shouldn't have to explain this to him. I don't know too many pedophiles that share like that outside of a pedophile arena. That's why you kind of catch them in groups together. I don't know how else to explain that. They have a reason for keeping that shit hidden and to only stay in circles of their own. That it doesn't. Again, I shouldn't have to explain that, D-Roy. So in your explanation, your investigatory skills here as a life application officer and your grand fucking wisdom, you're gonna go find out. You're going to investigate, D-Roy, whether or not this is a gay thing or an Eric thing. And so the way that you go about doing that is asking the pedophile's friends. Absolutely phenomenal, D-Roy. Absolutely. They should call you Sherlock Holmes. Absolutely fucking marvelous, my man. You are the pinnacle of intellectual thought and investigation. My God, you need your own series on true crime TV. Jesus.
Pennsylvania, I had a lot. I used to work out with police officers, and now today I work with police officers, but I used to work out with them at the YMCA in New Kensington. The stories that they used to tell me of why they left the inner city and started working in New Kensington. Like, New Kensington's an inner city with a lot of traffic and a lot of crap in it, but yet they've been in other cities that are closer to Pittsburgh. They've been in other cities, like going further.
You're probably
west,
wondering what this has to do with gays.
They were just as bad as Pittsburgh.
Just wait.
And the stuff that they told me that they had to do about gays and how many gays get arrested for violent crimes, sexual assault, assault on children, child abuse, fighting with each other, weapons, guns, and then they do crazy stuff like it's just heinous. It's just...
So you mean to tell me that gay people commit crimes like straight people? Is that... I'm not sure. It's heinous. Yes, D-Roy. Straight people commit the same crimes as gay people. I'm not sure why that's like news. Why I'm not. So the way that your generalization here is, I won't talk to you. Your generalization here is that you heard anecdotes from police officers who, I'm not sure how they even know these guys are gay in the first place. I'm not really sure how that works, but okay. They told you that gay folks get arrested as much as for the same crimes as straight people, and you had a friend who was a pedophile and was attracted to young boys. So that makes every gay person inherently a pedophile. Oh, but the caveat is that only when they have like control, like that's when they have control over a city, like a Sodom and Gomorrah. That's when the innate pedophilia kicks in. Okay, thank you, D-Roy.
It's just nasty. Okay, so where's the platform? Is the platform a gay marriage, or is the platform at the porn shop downtown Pittsburgh?
Okay, so the platform thing, he's talking about a figurative platform. He's not talking about a literal platform. We've transitioned from D-Roy's characterization of all gay people, all gay men specifically, and how he substantiates that. That's what the last like 10 minutes was. Okay, so we're now moving the topic to the foundation of what gay activism is founded upon. So what sort of socio-political platform do they operate under or above, depending on how you look at it? So that's what now we're talking about. So this may be kind of a weird segue, but that's what he's moving to, because to him, this all interconnects. This is all interwoven with one another. He doesn't support gay marriage because all gays are pedophiles. He knows this because cops have told him that gays have been arrested for the same crimes as straight people, and that his best buddy was a pedophile. Okay, so that's where we're at. That is where we are at. Also, that guy would be a registered sex offender. Yeah, so I would like some receipts on this too, because here's my thing. If he was the upstanding Christian that he says he is, he would have reported Eric. Eric would be on a sex offender registry right now. Because I'm pretty sure it won't be too hard, given what D-Roy knows about his best friend, for the cops to use that information to find evidence that he has committed an act of pedophilia. And child endangerment and all that stuff. But I don't think this guy is on a sex offender registry. I don't think D-Roy even told the police. It's just me.
Okay? Well, I'm not going to judge and say that the platform for homosexuality starts at the porn shop. But it doesn't start at gay marriage, I know that. Gay marriage is the last thing on a homosexual's mind. Usually when they get older and they realize that they're content with having substitute sex instead of real sex, then they decide that, okay.
So there is a homogenous mindset among all gay men now. So we've generalized their desires as innate pedophiles. We've gone from it being substantiated by anecdotes from random police officers and his best friend who was a pedophile, and that the political activism aspect of it for gayness in the public not being solely based on the pedophilia, but not being solely based on the goal for having the equal right to marriage. And so now we're moving into the evolution of your average gay, from their carnal desires with having gay sex, however that may be, to this conception that D-Roy has of what he calls substitute sex. Because keep in mind that sex in D-Roy's mind, his definition of what sex is any carnal relationship between a man and a woman. That's it. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that's exclusive to specific sex acts, because something tells me that anal sex with a woman, going either way, isn't on the menu there. So
I'm going to be with a guy till I die, so let me get married. Okay? But before they got married, they were all doing the same thing that my friend Eric was doing.
See what I mean?
Okay?
See what I mean? So a part of the evolution of the gay is you start off with little boys and then you graduate to men. And so you get satisfied and complacent with having gay sex with a man, and then you want to get gay married because you've already practiced with kids and you like it so much that you say, oh, well, let me try out an adult. Adults are cool now, so let me get gay married, stay with that. The evolution of the gay according to D-Roy. I don't know where to go with that, folks. Like, how do you see the problem here with D-Roy? This is fucked up. This is incredibly fucked up. So D-Roy is saying, by like this scheme that he has worked up here, that would mean my little brother has at some point molested some kid. I mean, I can call him D-Roy and ask him if you want me to. Pretty sure he hasn't. But that's incredibly inflammatory. But then you wonder why people push back on your nonsense. You wonder.
And I mean, you know, Eric was so, you know, and again, Eric's supposed to be gay. How does he have 2 children? Okay? If you're born gay, how did you get a woman pregnant?
So, what also confuses D-Roy is that how does a penis work when you put it inside a butthole or inside a guy's mouth? Evidently, that means that it doesn't work if you put it inside a woman's vagina. It shuts off. It recedes inside you. Because there aren't tons and tons of men living on the down low in Atlanta, Georgia right now with wives and kids and a whole fucking family, but on the weekend go off and, you know, start fucking gay tricks. That doesn't happen at all. That's not a thing. PP no working woman.
And I found that out way later after it was all over. I said, what? Oh, yeah, he got 2 children. When he died, when he got killed, he left 2 children behind. Oh, my God. What a joke. What a joke. Am I being offensive yet?
I mean, you just called my
Okay.
little brother a pedophile, technically.
I mean,
but
I know.
tacitly.
You know, I've been there to know and experience these things.
I had a gay friend who was a pedophile,
Okay?
so
But
I know
people
what
that
all
defend
gays do.
don't know about gays. People that have had run-ins with gays know more about gays than people that defend gays. Oh,
I'll tell you what, D-Roy. When you actually grow up and have one of your siblings be gay, then you come talk to me, okay? I'm not sure who this is addressed to, but this is bullshit. Because if we're working on based on anecdotes, my little brother doesn't fit any of this stuff at all. So, what are you talking about? Maybe it's because now I have to wonder this about you, D-Roy. This is something I've been wondering about. Why would a pedophile feel comfortable talking to you and sharing this stuff with you? That's a serious question. That's a real serious question. So what about, because they don't share that sort of stuff to anybody. The reason I find out people I work with are pedophiles is because other people who are somewhat degenerates talk to them about degenerate things. And then those people talk to me because I'm nowhere near that level of fucking degenerate. And I find out, oh, this guy actively searches for kids. So what did you say? What kind of conversations did y'all have where he'd feel comfortable enough to talk to you about and invites you? And invites you. That's really strange to me. Because that's not something that they really do. And I have to wonder, what sort of conversations did y'all have that led to that? So I am incredibly suspicious right now. That's not offering somebody weed on the street. That's not someone walking up to you in a sex shop and saying, hey, you want to come fuck my wife? That's something that'll get you landed in physical jail. Prison time. Up under the jail. Shanked and stabbed and killed in prison. So, while we're talking about making these sort of inferences based on these choice experiences, I have to wonder, D-Roy, about you in that aspect. Maybe it's something that you said in passing that had nothing to do with kids, maybe, but that's odd. Really odd to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm down with gays having jobs and gays having good health care. I'm down with gays, having the same rights as everybody else, except for gay marriage, because that's a joke. Marriage is for natural relationships. It's for men and women. It ain't for anybody and everybody. What about immigrants? Okay?
Because you get to define what marriage is.
Immigrants, immigrants have habits, okay?
So he's moving on to another topic now. So Christians don't get to define what marriage is. Sorry, D-Roy. If that were the case, then I wouldn't be married to my wife. I'm not a Christian. Like, so let's get this Judeo-Christian bullshit out the way real quick. Sorry, folks, if you're Christian, y'all don't own marriage. It's two consenting consenting adults, getting married to one another, holy matrimony, starting family, whatever. It is what it is. Cool. But you don't get to personally define marriage and say what nobody, because let's take a page out of your book, my man. I don't think you can talk to anybody about who should and shouldn't get married. You need to look in the mirror real quick. Going on 10 years in August? 10 years in August. A decade. I don't think the consensus on who and who shouldn't be married should be based on somebody who's been divorced. That's just me. That's just me. Just saying. So, before you open your crack hole about that sort of thing, you may want to step back and look in the mirror real quick. People in glass houses should not throweth stones, sir. All right? So, I'm glad we're getting off the gay stuff, because it's just Ron. All of it's Ron. That's D-Roy. He's not too well. He has choice experiences. Shit happens. He knows some fucked up people, has some fucked up stuff happen to him. I guarantee you he's met gay people in his life that he didn't even know was gay. And lived regular lives and paid their taxes and didn't do any of this crazy shit. And he probably never knew. And there are probably gay dudes that he does know. I think he's actually spoken about other gay dudes he met in Job Corps who didn't do this kind of stuff. But his experiences with them don't actually play a role in his assessment here, which is interesting, because he has mentioned other gay dudes. And yeah, it was Job Corps, actually. One of the Job Corps stories. I think there's a gay guy that he works with, if I'm not mistaken. Again, those experiences he doesn't use because he can't antagonize them. He doesn't have anything, but we don't really even need D-Roy to acknowledge that, because he'll just make something up.
The more I hear D-Roy talk, the more I get the feeling that he probably thinks that Richard Spencer has a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, me too. He probably agrees with a lot of shit Richard Spencer says, specifically about people who look like him. But just saying.
That set them apart from other Americans.
Oh, so this part, I'm gonna let a lot of this play. But let me reiterate a few things, because I have a feeling he's going to try and address this in my assessment. So, D-Roy, feel free to correct me. But from what I gathered, and people in the chat, feel free to correct me too, because I'm not D-Roy. I'm not afraid of criticism. My assessment of what I just heard goes as such. And let me go back. Your average gay has an innate, we'll say, attraction towards molesting young boys. That is their natural state. That is what they all largely are doing. But they carry with them a facade because they know that's not socially acceptable. This sort of thing only comes out when they are in control of a city, municipality, or whatever, and that they can hide that sort of thing, such as Sodom and Gomorrah, or it's just legal. And the only time that it'll really come out is nowadays is when they feel comfortable enough that you won't rat on them and that you'll participate in that, and they'll show you their true forms. And so all gays just naturally start out like this, and then they go from molesting young boys to adults. And when they're satisfied with what D-Roy calls substitute sex, then they want to get gay married. And so then comes in the socio-political aspect of this, where their socio-political platform isn't solely based on their innate pedophilia, nor is it on them desiring the right to get gay married because they're satisfied with substitute sex. That's somewhat of a summation of what I gathered from D-Roy. And D-Roy substantiates this because he had a best friend who was a pedophile. And D-Roy checked with this best friend and the friends of this best friend to see if all gays were like this. So the pedophile that he knew had pedophile friends. And that's how D-Roy knows that all gays are like this. Oh, and let's not forget that the police officers he used to hang around with arrested gays for crimes. That's how we know they're all like this. But then they're not all like this, but they are like this. But, you know, when they get in, it's... Because he tried to qualify it at one point. And I'd be remiss if I didn't admit, he tried to qualify that, well, it's not all gays. It's just when they get in positions of power, like in Sodom and Gomorrah. Anyway. So, D-Roy's view on immigrants is not unlike that of anything that you hear on Fox News. It resembles an aversion towards a xenophobia specifically. D-Roy is incredibly xenophobic. That's not a shock to anybody, but his ignorance towards their cultural norms is astounding, given how much he claims that they are in proximity of him, right? Because he has indicated that he shares public transportation and workspaces with some of these folks. D-Roy has stated that he does care about people, and that's why he talks like the way he does about people, which is odd given how passive he is about actually trying to understand them. And D-Roy loves to sort of juxtapose how he lives and what he sees as the average American, see white people, with how immigrants from different communities behave. So people from East Asian countries and people from Mexico or wherever sort of forming their own, cloisters of whatever area that they're from, little Italy, little Tokyo, whatever. Like just to have an example, they'll form their own communities and kind of keep to themselves. So this to D-Roy is disconcerting because here in America, we don't do things like that, right? Oh, wait, we have something like the white flight, if anyone knows what that is. We have plenty of examples of immigrants from Italy. Get this, they're white people, technically, forming their own communities. Ever since America was founded, that's happened. There are places in Pennsylvania where there's just people of German descent who have formed their own communities because they have, guess what, in common? That's de facto segregation. It happens. And over time, what ends up happening is that people tend to move out of those areas, and then new people come in, and it becomes diluted, and then they eventually disperse. They become a part of the homogenous group that is whatever the area is. If you know the history of the beginning of Japan, that's very interesting. If anybody wants to think about that. Anyway, so I'm not sure how D-Roy thinks integration into a society actually works, because it's a two-way street. And so that's something to keep in mind, that the Italians are barely white people. Oh, says the Jewish guy. Haha. But this is interesting because let's keep this in mind. If you're becoming integrated, and this is any in-group, out-group dynamic. It can be a work scenario. It can be, actual, like immigrating to a country. The people who are there have to accept who are coming in, and people who are coming in have to want to be a part of who's already there. So that happens when there's mutual understandings and common ground amongst in-group and out-group. So let's think about this in in-group, out-group mentality. Has D-Roy shown an interest in understanding the out-group and an acceptance of the fact that they naturally somewhat ostracized because they probably don't share a whole lot in common. But in order to bridge that gap, in order to find out where they are similar, to find out those similarities and make those connections, you would have to actively find that out. There's a process where you have to sit down and break bread, for instance. So I've not seen D-Roy actively participate in that. And I'm very harsh on D-Roy about this because I actively do this in my real life. I will go and try and learn other languages. People have heard me speak Spanish. People have heard me speak Hindi. I try my best to converse with people from different backgrounds, from all around the world, so I can learn more about where they come from. Because if I can find that out, if I can understand how their culture works, then I can understand them better. I don't think D-Roy does that. I don't think he actually spends that time doing that. Jews or the Japanese or the white people. Okay, Sam. Oddtalk says, by his standards, he is going to hell for that. Look, Oddtalk, you know that there's a standard. D-Roy has explained to us that there's a standard that everyone should live by, except him. He does what the fuck he wants to.
Against true or false?
Hold on, let me rewind this.
It ain't for anybody and everybody. What about immigrants? Okay? Immigrants.
Yes, this is me.
What?
About 8 years
Immigrants
ago.
have habits, okay, that set them apart from other Americans. True or false?
Habits that set them
Immigrants
apart.
have habits that set them apart from other Americans. True or false?
Okay, so let me answer this question. I think this, and just to let you know, D-Roy, I'm going to take my time answering this because it's a malformed question. I have habits that differ between me and the next Creole you'll see on the street. That other than me and another Creole eating beignets and crawfish etouffee, there's probably not a whole lot that we have in common. What about me and another veteran? Other than me and Xavier eating the same, we share a few other things in common, but what we like tends to also differ, and what we dislike, like croutons, differs greatly. So I'm not sure what immigrant community that you're talking about, because some immigrants are more than interested in trying to integrate. And I'll use the early Japanese Americans during World War II, naming their kids American names.
Is it just me or does Drag look spooky today? Bet he's looking for trouble.
Yeah, that's a reference to the other video. That's good. Angry World, you watch far too much of my shit. But a lot of the early Japanese Americans that were born during World War II, they have American names. But you'll see certain immigrants from different areas. No, we're going to have names that have been in our family for generations, and we're not going to change that because we're here in America. So it depends on the demographic of who's coming in, and it depends on their personal fucking preferences. Like So what are you talking about? That's such a broad statement. Again, this is a problem with D-Roy. Him just generalizing. I don't think that you know enough immigrants to even draw that conclusion. Let me say that. I don't think that you know, just by sheer quantity alone, I don't think that you would know enough. But I'm not going to sit here and just try to have this like immigrant happy dick measuring contest with you, because I already know that I've met and I've indulged in the cultures of other people far more than you ever will. I'm going to put that out there right now. And I would love some challenge on that. I would definitely love some challenge on that. But that's such a shitty question, D-Roy. Because how do you even measure that? So do they have habits that differ? Yes, absolutely. The Mexicans that I know that are out here who just immigrated tend to work more cohesively than a lot of the Americans that I've worked with. They're more interested in working together, getting a fucking job done, than trying to show up the next person. That is what I've observed. Shit like that, absolutely. Absolutely. Different culture.
Now, I don't know what's going on the drag channel,
Of course you don't.
Okay.
But you know what Shani and Rev are doing.
but on the Asian channel, okay,
The
they
Asian?
say that all Asians are alike. This is Asian people talking. Now, you want to say, oh, there's a difference between, one
Vietnamese.
part of Korea and another part of Korea, or women from Korea and women from China. Yeah, and duh. And I know some of them differences too.
So then why would you say that they're all the
Okay?
same?
I know some of them differences too. Just like I deal with, I used to work for University of Pittsburgh. I used to do, security for University of Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's so cool, D-Roy, that you did security for them and you got to see
You
them walk by.
see differences in ones that are more comfortable using English and communicating with other races, and ones that dress different and act different, and then a lot of them are willing to.
Yeah, I don't know what the Asian channel is. Is that an actual channel on YouTube called the Asian channel? I have no idea what that is. But so what he's mentioning here is a personal preference that certain Asian women have shown. That's not something that's just homogenous. Like all Vietnamese women are more comfortable doing this, and all women from Indochina are, comfortable with it. Like, no. Like, that's a personal fucking preference. That's personal, D-Roy. That has nothing to do with the fact that she's Vietnamese. Maybe she don't feel comfortable talking to you. Maybe that's it. Like, it's a really weird shit that he mentions here. Like, he doesn't actually know that this is less about a group mentality and that it's up to the individual. For somebody who dissociates himself from communities, he sure loves to fucking, like, associate other people with this a homogenous group in his head. Isn't that really odd? The people, other than, it's weird, because he'll say that he's part of the Christian community, and then he does his own thing, and he's not part of that community, but, it's this weird dynamic that he has. A really weird dynamic. Yeah, who's a prison of Asia. There's just, everyone else exists in these homogenous groups in his mind. But D-Roy gets to be this special fucking snowflake individual. Your guess is as good as mine, folks. But it's cute, D-Roy, that you got to look at the pretty Asian women as they walk by. But have you actually tried talking to them? Have you actually tried speaking their language? Hey, this guy has. Have you actually tried to learn more about where they come from, who they are as a person? Yes. So, I doubt that you've done that, other than making an Asian woman fetish, which, I mean, high five, man. I'm right there with you. My wife was right there with you. But, like, that only goes so far. That goes it extends as far as your tiny penis. But learning about who people are as people would be much better for you to try and make these fucking assessments.
To hook up with white.
Sam says Asian women prefer blacks and Jews depending on their relationship with their father. Fair enough.
And like, you know what I'm saying, a walk in the park like it ain't nothing, where the other ones are very touchy about, dating outside their race, and Koreans and Chinese and Japanese are all different about that. I understand that. But
the difference is based on personal preference.
That all Asians have a lot in common. Okay? Not that they know each other, but they do have a lot in common.
They're all from Asia.
And you go to a place like University of Pittsburgh, one Asian from one country is more friendly about speaking English with another Asian of a different country before he speaks English with an American. And I know, because I've worked there.
You've seen them.
There.
That's cute. Have you actually worked beside them? Like in a lab, for instance? I have. Have you actually sat down and tried to communicate with them? You see, there's a reason why they would have issues. So typically, they'll, in a group of Asians, and I'll pick a group from my, was it American History? No, I think American Government course. There's a group, a mixture, males and females, from Vietnam. One spoke really good fucking English, and the rest of them not so much. Now, me being a native English speaker, do you think the ones that don't speak that well, as far as their command of the English language, do you think they feel more comfortable speaking to me in English or someone who already speaks their native dialect when they're trying to practice their English? I'm going to give you a good few minutes to think about that, D-Roy. A good few minutes to think about that. The person in their own group who understands where they come from, who knows them, versus me, they don't know who I am or where I come from. You know, there's this. Come on. If I'm trying out a speech, D-Roy, very technical speech, let's say in the realm of physics, I'm using all this jargon, not really sure if I'm making strong connection, and I don't want to look stupid. Do you think I'm going to try that out on my target audience of people with PhDs in physics, or do I want to try that out with one of my peers who, you know, knows me a bit better? I'm trying to draw these distinctions here because you have a really hard time understanding other people. I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, is that you don't understand people. And so you tend to just make up stuff as you go along because of the lack of interpersonal experience that you have. Now, when I say that, let me qualify that, because you again like to make shit up about me. You don't spend time and invest time in understanding people's mindsets that differ from you. I'm not talking about your random coworker that you've seen for the last 5 years that you talk to in passing. I'm not talking about the people in your church who kiss your ass and tell you make awesome videos, but you're sometimes racist. I'm talking about somebody, D-Roy, who has known you for more than a year, that you disagree with, that you can take constructive criticism from, and doesn't believe a lot of the same shit that you do. I don't think you have someone like that in your life. Again, I'm not talking about minor disagreements like your favorite fucking football team. I'm not talking about someone who may even be an atheist, who has largely the same set of social and political beliefs as you do. Someone who differs from you greatly and has very little in common with you. I don't think that you actually have someone like that in your life, because it shows. It really does show. Even in your examples of how much you know about these Asian women. At what point do you indicate that you've actually spoken to them? You don't think that I picked up on that? Oh, I've seen them. They've been walking around. Cool. I can stare at Asian women all day too. I do it on my computer. Do I actually know anything about them as people? Again, these walking vaginas that you see that come from Asia, they have a personality. It's cool if you actually talk to them. It's awesome. Some of them even have titties. But when you talk to them, D-Roy, and find out where they come from, not what language they speak, what dialect they speak, because that's very important. Very important. Find out what their family situation is. Are they here with family? Are they here alone? You'll need to ask them about the green card status and all that shit. What they're studying. What are their goals and aspirations? What about, learn about them as people. Even try to learn some language. And then get better going to the dialect. But you don't invest time in people like that. That's not in your mindset. That's not, you're probably in the mindset, I'm too old to learn that. And that's part of the issue. You're complacent and lazy and passive. And that's why I criticize you so much, because you have all of these stark opinions about people, but you don't actually take the time to learn shit. You don't invest enough time into people to find out about them. That's why you have to make up shit and generalize, because it's easy, because that's what D-Roy's good at. You can ramble to yourself in a fucking camera for 10 hours about nothing and say nothing and know nothing. Meanwhile, I can have a 5-minute conversation, have someone's entire life history, and learn much more than you will in 10 years. Because that is the difference between someone who's actively invested and learning about someone, and someone who's just passive, looking to fulfill stereotypes they've already constructed. There's a complete difference between those two, D-Roy. You should learn which category you fit in.
Half the population of students at University of Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, the amount of Asians at University of Pittsburgh, I believe, is higher than whites.
That's actually false.
If you're
I actually went and checked on that. And anyone who's ever been to a university would know that that's a strange. That'd be a strange dynamic, unless you're in certain like Silicon Valley areas. But the University of Pittsburgh has less than, I want to say, 5% Asian population. It'd be an odd scenario for the Asian population to be more than the white population, unless it's an area like you have in British Columbia, where you have a large influx of people who immigrated there 50 years ago, and then all their kids are going there. That's why in certain areas of California, where guess what, people immigrated, prior to World War II, and there's a large Japanese population there. But Pittsburgh really wasn't one of those hubs. It's far, but this is, look, I just went to their website and just looked up the demographics. I don't think it's ever been like that, but okay.
Wasn't for the Asian population at University of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh would be bankrupt. There are
Yes.
a lot of Asians. As soon as you hit Fifth Avenue, it looks like frickin' Japan. I'm telling you. Okay?
Frickin'
So,
Japan.
Whether I'm having, conversation, how much do you know about your neighbors, whether they be black, whether they be Asian, whether they be Spanish, whether they be homosexuals, whether they be Indian or Arab? How much do you know about them that you would trust everyone you meet in your house?
Now, that's interesting. So I know a little about my neighbors. I usually stay inside. The people that I know about are people that I encounter most often. My neighbor here to the left is a white lady who is usually, she goes out, works, and she has goes to, I think, yoga. Directly across from, actually no, diagonal to the left, Indian couple, and the neighbor that's on the far left side of us, Indian lady to the adjacent right.
He would have to learn how
black
to
lady,
say he
her
got
family.
funny feelings in his crouch when he wrestled with the other boys in Asian.
I'm sorry, Wilson, you're a terrible fucking person. But I've only sparingly spoken to a lot of them because they're busy. They're like, when I see them, they're in and out. They're going place. I'm not going to sit and have a full conversation because the Indian folks that do live directly, diagonal to the left, like me facing out, they have a full ass family, minivan and everything, and they're going places. I think the daughter is I think she's on the flag team, I think, dear. She was flag team. Yeah, the daughter that we saw the other day, facing out, where they were doing flag team. Is that what that was? Yeah, okay, yeah, it was flag team. So I haven't had time to sit out there and full conversation. There's a few Hindi phrases that I know, greetings and stuff like that I'll issue every so often when I remember. And then other than that, don't know too much. The Indians that I do know, though, that are large, actually no, all of them are from some region in South India. I know that some of them are from Hyderabad, and some of them are from a little bit, I think, south of that. But little stuff like that I found out. I found out that not all of them speak Hindi, which I thought was every Indian person from South India at least spoke Hindi. I didn't know that. That's not true. So you don't find out about those sort of things unless you talk to them. So that's why I find it interesting that you don't mention anything specific, and it's because you don't actually speak to them. You just sit and fetishize the Asian women and then just make assumptions after that. So yeah, no, I don't think that you actually know anything about any of these people.
Just simply because you had a conversation with them.
Have a few
Let's stop.
conversations.
Let's stop with the
trying to call somebody a bigot and trying to call somebody, you know, hateful and nasty towards other people.
You literally said, what, 20 minutes ago that all homosexual men were pedophiles. Like, in their innate stance is, or I guess their innate self is that of a pedophile. Like, you literally got done saying, I'm sorry, that is bigoted. That's incredibly fucking bigoted, dude. But, I mean, you can be as mad as you want to, but everyone sat here and heard you.
You have to say that.
No.
For the title of your videos, you have to say that for
So
who your
I actually,
fans are and for your own theology, but actually it's not true.
So there isn't a video where, or title like he's saying here. I've never actually had one where I've labeled him a bigot. So that's interesting. Is Mrs. D playing Animal Crossing? Y'all can hear it in the background? Yeah, she is. But if it's too loud, let me know. I didn't think y'all could hear that. But I don't actually title my video, Look at D-Roy the Bigot. I actually went back and typed it in just to see. And no, you made that up, D-Roy. I didn't actually say that. I did say that I didn't make a title that. I did call you a bigot because you've expressed open bigotry. That is something that you've actually accepted in a previous video exchange that we've had before, that you've accepted that. So I'm not sure why we're revisiting that when you've already accepted the fact that you are a bigot because you express open bigotry.
And we are all not equal, and we all are not the same.
Okay, so we're moving now. We're segueing into not everyone's equal. So here we go. We're going another leg of this journey. Absolutely, D-Roy. We're equal as far as the rights we all should have in this nation. As far as our personal capabilities, mental, physical acumen, however you want to phrase it, we are not equal. You're absolutely right by that. There are things that separate us socioeconomically, genetically, lots of things. You can think of any type of metric that you could construct, and that would end up showing that there is a stratification of people and their abilities, innate or otherwise. Absolutely agree with you on that. Unfortunately, on any measurable scale, you fall far, far, far low on that totem pole.
Enough of that. But I love everybody. I love everybody.
He loves
I'm
everybody.
willing to have a conversation with anyone that's willing to have a conversation with me. But in my life, I know that a lot of people don't like black people. Hello? They don't like black people, and they only been in this country for a minute. And I guess they watch, you know why they don't like black people? Because they watch black people on TV in their own country, and they don't see any other races getting in fights at McDonald's, pulling each other's weaves out of their daggone head. So I can't really blame them for coming over here and not liking black people.
So he was complaining that they keep to themselves and don't want to communicate with other people. That was bad. Now it's good because he agrees on the same, myopic views that they have. That's interesting. So, and D-Roy, I get it. I've been in that scenario, actually. My buddy, his ex-wife, all she knew, because she's from Bali, all she knew is what she saw on American TV. So there's not a lot of great depictions of black people on American TV. I'm just for movies and stuff like that. Thugs, all that kind of shit. Yeah. Absolutely. American TV does nothing for the perception of what black people are. And unfortunately, there are still people who don't realize that that's not emblematic of everybody. I don't resemble anybody on Boys from the Hood. At least I don't think so. So, but notice that the negative is taken. Let's look at the Cosby Show. Positive black role models and figures, and you don't see people defer to that. You don't see like Family Matters. You don't see people defer to that. You could. So let me. Max and Kyle. Living single. Living single. You don't see people defer to that. It's interesting what people pick and choose to watch, though. That should be stated. So it doesn't surprise me, sister. But if it doesn't surprise me that D-Roy agrees with that, because every black person is what you'll see on World Star Hip Hop, evidently, fighting and shit like that. That's shit some of my extended family does, but only a few of my extended family. My family specifically, largely are evangelical Christians, and most of them serve in the military, have full-time jobs, families, and they do what they do. They don't actually get in trouble. Besides one person, one of my cousins, who's actually been to prison. Just one. That's outside of even him. He's fairly tame, except for that mistake that he decided to hang around the wrong crowd and get involved in a was it armed robbery? Yeah, armed robbery. Something with a deadly weapon, assault with a deadly weapon. But after that, he's been on the straight and narrow for the most part. So, yeah, people make generalizations. I'm so shocked, D-Roy, you being one of them, that you agree with that shit. Cool. So, here's the thing that confuses me. I'm genuinely shocked and confused about how is it that you complain that people, other races and stuff, look at you as a black man a certain way because you're black, but then you agree with them when they make the generalizations in the first place. So here, that's my thing. If you agree with them making that presumption and then applying those stereotypes, but then you're mad when they apply it to you, don't you see the issue there? Does that not somewhere in your fucking pea brain go, well, hold on for a second. If that upsets me, why does that upset me if I've already accepted the stereotype? Then you shouldn't have a problem with them making that conclusion. Does that not make sense to you? You agree with the mindset. You have the mindset, but because the conclusion causes them to look at you like that, then you become a petulant fucking child. Here's a news flash here. Maybe there's something wrong with that mindset, D-Roy. I know that's a crazy thought to you. I know that's something that you probably not really pondered because that requires more than 6 brain cells. But if it upsets you because you know and I know that what's on World Star Hip Hop isn't a reflection of who you are, then maybe the mindset's wrong, D-Roy. Just possibly, maybe it's a generalization. Maybe that's where the problem is. But then why would you fucking agree with it then? I'm not sure how long I have to speak, how many illustrations I have to make to explain what's fucking common sense, which should be common sense, at least according to you. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. Because I've seen you waffle back and forth between these. Enjoying the myopic views that people have and the stereotypes that are derived from them, but then complain when it applies to you, when the inferences that they're making using these stereotypes. You can't have both of those. You can't be upset from the conclusion, but agree with the rationale. Accept it. You've already accepted the mindset, accept the conclusion. That you are one of the ingrates that they despise now. But I don't accept the rationale. I don't accept the stereotype. I know that's not a reflection of me. I know that's a lazy way of thinking. It's fallacious, actually. So, I'm good as far as that's concerned. And people can make those sort of assumptions. Okay, cool. Show me where I resemble anything like that. Right? You'll be hard-pressed. But you're the one with the issue here. So I shouldn't see any more videos. You shouldn't make any more videos about how you're complaining that people look at you and make these stereotypes. You should accept it.
And then who has went into Asian restaurants and hair places and so forth
and got beat and gotten their butts kicked by Asians because they went in there acting up, trying to give them, you know, shortchange these people. And come in there and criticize, you know, they're going to wait till this woman has spent 2 hours on her head, then she's going to turn around and say she didn't do it right when it comes time to go to the cash register. Oh, yeah, she hit you with a broom. Okay? Now, on the flip side...
So it's acceptable that people get assaulted when you're providing a service for them and the service is subpar. That's acceptable, D-Roy. That's awesome. That lets me know a lot about you. No, if I spend $200 for someone to perform whatever shit my wife goes to get, it better be what the fuck I ordered, or we're gonna have issues. That doesn't then... I'm just kidding. She pays for her own fucking hair. But it better be right. It better be what was ordered. It better be exactly the way it should be, or we're gonna have issues. And that's for any service. If I pay somebody $200 for lawn care and they fuck up my lawn, we're going to have issues. That doesn't then mean that the person who is rendering the service gets a free pass to assault somebody. No, that's not how things work, D-Roy. That's not how adults behave. And the fact that you think that that's acceptable tells me, again, a lot about you.
That I've seen some Asians go off on black people before black people could say Mugu Gai Pan. I mean, before they could say it right. I've seen them go off and just go buck wild. Matter of fact, there's been some cases where, you know, I mean, they had to shut down the Asian store because, you know, the cop showed up, and even though you could tell the cop really wanted to take the black person, but the black person was on the floor bleeding with an asthma attack, and it's all on camera. So, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, even D-Roy would have to let her win when it's that bad. You know what I'm saying? Asian girl still swinging. The girl's already on the floor having an asthma attack. Big fat black guy trying to keep the girl away from her without putting her in a chokehold. And he's not even like hitting her back or nothing. He's just putting his hand in the way. She beating him over the head with a broom, trying to get to this black girl. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of racism that comes into this country. And people are arrogant and rude. And they have they like this race, but they don't like this race. Okay? But again, some things black people put on themselves. I really can't blame Asians sometimes. I really can't blame white people sometimes. Okay? But racism to me is between me and the person that's actually racist. It's not between me and white people. It's not between me and all Asian people. It's not between me and all Indian Arab people. It's not...
What you're talking about is personal prejudice then. Then we're talking about something different.
Between me and all Native Americans or Mexicans or whatever. It's between me and that one person that might be actually racist. Really honestly racist. Enough of that. Facebook is about friends.
Okay. So we have, the Mugu. I've never had Mugu Gai Pan. I'm actually curious now. So some of y'all may be a bit confused as to why the series of topics. There are sets of things that I have mentioned in D-Roy, in my previous review of D-Roy's video, and that some of the things I had mentioned is his misunderstanding of social media. I mentioned his treatment of immigrants, homophobia. These are things that I specifically mentioned. So that's why he's categorically addressing them. So these aren't weird segues. He's just categorically, you can tell I just woke up, addressing them. Just so everyone's cognizant of what's going on here. I actually need to go piss real quick and throw some stuff away. Let me play a little something for y'all.
D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Number one, anyone that's been watching my channel knows that I'm not black conscious. Neither do I, baby, spoil, or agree with black people. Black people.
I'm so hoarse. Just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Oh, I can breathe. Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
That's another dumb thing that black people jump. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. Leroy Cruz.
I love me some white people.
Leroy Cruz. Black. Next to every good black person is a fuck. I just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Yes, I can because of all you've done in me. Now that's just a piece of the song.
Look here, you stepped into drag nuts territory. I'm the mob, nigga. I'm the mob, nigga. I love me some white people.
I'm superior than a lot of blacks because I follow the right culture.
I'm the mob, nigga. I love me some white people.
You know, I've seen these atheists act like a bunch of fags.
I'm the mob, nigga. I love me some white people.
A woman flashing her beauty. That's like walking in a room with dog treats.
Like, why are you bringing those in here? Are you trying to tease me with treats, or what are you doing?
And even clean.
I think women are naive.
Because of all
I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he's got a great mind.
you've done.
Need to watch your mouth. Need to watch.
All right, so make sure the kid is up. It is 1:30. He's sleeping in. Went back to sleep. So, okay. Got me some water. What was I saying? I forgot what he was saying. Let me see. I forgot.
That might be actually racist. Really, honestly racist. Enough of that. Facebook.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's what I was gonna say. All right. Yeah, it's even if I don't have any notes or anything around here, I have an idea of what I want to say based on keywords. So I have addressed D-Roy and his misunderstanding of how social media works. And just to kind of like help illustrate things, because I feel that when I talk, he can only listen to probably half of what maybe a quarter of what I say. He may or may not actually understand, and he can't bring himself to say, you know what, I didn't understand that, and could you explain that better? You know, I didn't actually understand that, or he won't ask for clarification. He'll just make up shit. So, or he'll just skip it and say, yeah, you spoke for 20 minutes, or you spoke for 10 minutes, and I don't really have a summary of what you said. I really can't reference what you said, but you said words, and yeah, I just, whatever, and just gloss over it. So, even when I spend the time painstakingly explaining something to him, it doesn't penetrate the skull. So, social media are interactive computer-mediated technologies that facilitate the creation or sharing of information, ideas, career interests, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. Yada, yada, yada. So there's something that I wanted to reference here. let's see. Observers have noted a wide range of positive and negative impacts of social media use. Social media can help improve individuals' sense of connectedness with real or online communities and can be an effective communication or marketing tool for corporations, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, advocacy groups, political parties, and governments. Now, there is, let's see. Used by individuals. Okay. Interpersonal relationships. Okay. All right, here we go. Concerns have been raised about online stalking or creeping of people on social media. Wait, let me see if y'all can see this. There we go. I hate when I do that because I lose my place. It's individuals. Let me get back to it. There we go. Collective memory, interpersonal. Okay. Y'all should be able to at least somewhat see that. All right. I'm on the Wikipedia page for those of you who have not seen that. Concerns have been raised about online stalking, let's put that air quotes, or creeping of people on social media, which means looking at a person's timeline, status updates, tweets, and online bios to find information about them and their activities. While social media creeping is common, it is considered to be poor form to admit to a new acquaintance or date that you have looked through his or her social media posts, particularly older posts, as this will indicate you are going through their old history. A subcategory of creeping is creeping ex-partner's social media posts after a breakup to investigate if there's a new partner or new dating. This can lead to partner's social media posts. This can lead to preoccupation with the ex, rumination, negative feelings, all of which postpone recovery and increase feelings of loss. Catfishing has become more prevalent, yada, yada, yada. So here's something that I wanted to point out. Okay. So D-Roy has mentioned Facebook stalking and creeping, which I found it interesting because that's almost exclusively, as this Wikipedia page is pointing out here, that's for people that you are in an intimate relationship with or plan to be in an intimate relationship with. It's odd that he would use that phrasing here. Maybe it's just a coincidence that he says that, but he said it quite a few times. It wasn't a passing comment. It wasn't a flippant statement. He has repeated this numerous times. And this is, at least to my knowledge, really the only context that you would use this in social media is for intimate relationships. Now, I'm not sure what D-Roy thinks social media is for, but it is the fuck you send me that? I'm not sure what. There's somebody in my molecular biology lab. This is a little odd to me. This is weird because I've never indicated that I wanted an intimate relationship with D-Roy. I'm not sure why he would expect that. I didn't even say that we were there. At no point in time did I tell him that we were going to be friends. It just so happens that Facebook uses that as like the operative term when you connect to someone on social media. I'd prefer that it didn't, but you have to actively change that in order for it to be categorized as an acquaintance or a close friend or whatever. So I think that D-Roy presumes that because that's on there, and I guess it's a bit of a misnomer, or not necessarily a misnomer by this social media network, but rather than them just calling it a connection, they call it a friend. You send a friend request rather than a connection request, because it's fairly arbitrary. No one really pays attention to that. People pay attention to relationship status for obvious reasons, but D-Roy for some reason hyper focuses on that. Even though there's no indication at any point in time that I've even said anything or even alluded to this intimate relationship that he's trying to say that there was some cultivation for, which I'll wait for receipts on that. He still has my comments underneath the video, the live thing that he did on a picture. I say, oh, it looks pretty good over in Pittsburgh. He has all that. He still has access to that. So he can show you all exactly what I've said, but I don't think he will because I think that he knows that he's lying about that. I'm pretty sure he knows he's lying. And so it's fun for him to mention stalking and have this weird, like, pseudo-romantic tone to it. It's fun for him to say that I was trying to be his friend and to come up with all these conspiracies. It's even harder for him to substantiate that outside of the claim. So I wanted to kind of point that out. But there's this article that's fairly extensive on social media use. Is something that D-Roy should probably peruse in his free time, because there's a lot of aspects, like there's a lot of stuff over social media, stuff that he doesn't really understand. I'm not saying that he needs to memorize this whole thing, but I think that he doesn't actually understand how social media works, is what I'm getting at.
It's about friends. Facebook is about friends, bro.
Actually, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Okay, now, when you come to Facebook and you put in a friend request, that friend request is not a request to come after that person. And let me tell you, all the people on my Facebook channel, most of them are my church family. I know where each one of them lives. And if I don't...
So just to give y'all a TLDR, he's going to outline how he uses social media. Now, most of us who are actually on Facebook, we understand that when you connect to a social network, it's a network. It's not a cloister. It's not an enclave of a secluded area that no one else can see or no one else has access to. In fact, people who are friends of the people he's friends with can see his stuff by virtue of D-Roy being friends with them. And I don't think he actually knows that. But if your personal Facebook, D-Roy, or whatever social media page, you only want for people you know in real life, that's your prerogative, man. No one's shitting on you for that at all. But why would you message me preemptively on my Dragnot Facebook page and chastise me for not sending you a friend request? Which I'm kind of against showing like DMs and stuff like that, but I think I might have to so people can see the kind of stuff that you sent me. Because I didn't ever message you on social media. I've only interacted with you on YouTube. You actually messaged me, man. So the fact that I said fuck it one day, I said, okay, so since he's trying to get in contact with me, I'll send him a friend request on my actual Facebook page to show him who I actually am. Like, you have access to a lot of information up to a point. So at no point, again, did I say that we were going to be friends. But if that's what your church family, all this other bullshit, that's fine. That's on you. But why would you accept a friend request if you only want people on there you know in real life? Why would you even accept it? I don't get that. But also, if you have a sensitivity to yourself that you don't like people disagreeing with you, which you seem to be indicating here, why wouldn't you say that from the get-go? Because I have disagreed with you. You know that I disagree with you. So did you think that the second that you added me on the Bookface channel thing, that I'm supposed to just agree with all your bullshit? Got me fucked up.
Know where they live. It take a phone call and I'll be right there. I mean, if I had a car, and it's been that way, I could be right there. I got my family on there. The most distant ones are people that I used to go to Job Corps with that are on my Facebook channel. And all of them left here. All of them have left and moved to other states. Some of them come here. And so it's kind of like, thanks to Facebook, we done had a Job Corps reunion, high school reunion, church reunion. But one person named Dragnot Silvas wanted to come to my channel. And he says he didn't say that he wanted to be my friend, but if you sent me a friend request, hello. And I know that having a friend request doesn't mean that, oh, I'm going to invite somebody in my house because they sent me a friend request. or they're going to invite me in their house because I.
Okay, so if you know that the term used by a social media website doesn't literally mean friend, then why would you keep repeating that? Again, this doesn't make sense to me because you seem to understand that at least somewhat here. So then what's the issue? Right? That I don't get it. This is where you waffle back and forth between bullshit, where you now have to substantiate some of the bullshit that you say and some of the lies you like to make up about people's intentions. So don't try to walk it back now, D-Roy. Because I think you know when you're being called out on bullshit.
I sent them a friend request. I ain't that stupid. I know that.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, you not that. Okay, D-Roy, look. I actually don't know that. The fact that you have to clarify it now is kind of why I have to question that. You see, do you see what me and other, because again, there are other people who watch you even before I do a review who are near you in age, my man, who come to these conclusions just because you don't talk to them. Some of them in your comment section, like pointing out shit. So you can pretend like people don't recognize the weird shit that you say and how unsubstantiated it is. But let me just be honest. You make shit up. You talk and don't think. And then you get called out and then you get ashamed. Now you got to find an explanation for it to make it go away. So I became good friends with someone I met arguing on Facebook about religion. Get along for a while. Yeah. So Shapeshifting Monkey, my good friend Odd Talk New Jersey. She was on my channel, I think late last week, early this week, and that's me and her disagree. I think I even called her an idiot or a fucking idiot, And no, we didn't get along at first, but now one of my good friends. I've actually met her in real life when I was up in Maryland. So yeah, that is how I end up becoming friends with people. So, but D-Roy, Shapeshifting Monkey, Shapeshifting Monkey, D-Roy's not used to that dynamic. D-Roy is not accustomed to people disagreeing with him actively. And he's not able to go and run and tell the pastor, like when he's getting beat up by the drummer, and go and tell his boss when someone's picking on him at work, and all that kind of shit. He has no recourse here. So he doesn't have a safe space or an adult to go run and tattle to. So he doesn't know what to do. So his best option here is just to separate himself from that, because criticism is scary.
I also understand that if you send them a friend request, why would you send them a friend request to come after them? If you're not interested in being their friend, why send them a friend request?
But you just said that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be their friend.
Letting bygones, we already have a animosity relationship. We already have a triggered relationship.
Triggered. On
YouTube. Why do we need one on Facebook? Isn't YouTube good enough, sir?
Mind you, I've not actually said anything disparaging to him on Facebook at all. I want y'all to keep that in mind. It's one of the reasons why he's not actually showing you any, like the live stream that he did, and like you can see me in the chat underneath my real name. You can see me commenting under some of his photos of food and pictures of Pittsburgh and all that other bullshit. Nothing but positive stuff. There's a reason he won't actually show that to you.
Admitted that he didn't want to be friends. So then why Facebook? What's the point? What are you digging for? Where are you trying to go? You said something about, I just wanted to get him talking. I just wanted to see what he was about. You just told me in the last 3 videos that you know what I'm about because of YouTube. You are a big hypocrite.
Is that what I said, D-Roy? Is that really what I said? Let's rewind that.
You told me in the last 3 videos that you know what I'm about because of YouTube.
Okay, so I want y'all in the chat Press 1 if you think that that's an accurate summation of what I said in my previous videos. Any of them. Press 2 if you disagree with D-Roy. So you guys actually actively watch me. Those of you who are here. Press 1 if you agree with D-Roy that that is an accurate depiction of what I've actually said. Press 2 if you disagree. And I'll wait. Because did I actually say that, D-Roy? Or is that what you somehow parsed out of a bunch? Like, because that's your assessment over the course of 3 whole videos that I've made. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Because before, when it was just one video, kind of one topic, you didn't accurately represent what I was saying as far as science, because I specifically remember having a conversation with you about how people come to inferences as far as evolution. As far as evolution, and like I should be very specific. Macroevolution, the inferences that people drawing for macroevolution, because I actually took my time. I think I was walking to class and I was explaining that, and I actually made a follow-up video because you misrepresented me, and that. So interesting. But okay, so there are people, like, of course, Xavier being that guy. But it looks like people disagree with your assessment there, D-Roy. So maybe you watched a different video that they watched. Maybe that okay, you know what? Let me throw you a bone. What specifically did I say that indicated that? Because if you're confused on something, D-Roy, and I've noticed this, when you get confused about things, something is because you make up something about someone, and then someone actually says something that differs from what you've made up or presumed about them, and you can't find a way to make the two kind of cohere with one another. That's where a lot of, like, the vast majority of your confusion comes in, because I didn't actually say that. It's your misunderstanding. It's your bullshit. It's the shit that you contrive, D-Roy. It's not anything that I've said, because you notice that you have to juxtapose what I've actually said with your bullshit. Now, in one of those cases, you can directly defer to me for the source of it. The other came from you. The fact that you're confused about it should tell you that that's a D-Roy problem. Again, I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you. It's a D-Roy problem. It's not a Dragnut problem. It is a D-Roy problem. It's D-Roy's mind that's messed up. It's D-Roy that doesn't understand. It's D-Roy who, for some strange reason, is hearing something else that 40, 50, 100 people didn't fucking hear. Maybe, just possibly, it's D-Roy that is the problem. Don't know. Just a guess. Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe me and 100 other people who actually actively watch me are all full of shit. And that the psychic abilities of D-Roy Cruz have just come into play and we're all not on the same page. Maybe that's reality, D-Roy. Maybe that's it. Maybe Dragnut's Sylv ass is just pulling the wool over 100 people's eyes. Even people who don't actually agree with him half the time. Maybe so. I don't think so. I think you don't understand. I think you need to pull your head out of your ass. And I think you need to sit down somewhere, my man, and actually pay attention to what the fuck I'm saying instead of making shit up. Maybe you're just so fucking old that you don't get it. Maybe that's it. But rather than being an adult and saying, you know what? Here's the timestamp. About an hour and 32 minutes in, you start saying X, Y, Z. Here it is. I don't get what you mean by this. Here's what I think that you're saying. You could leave it in a comment under my in my comment section. I usually don't check it, I'm not even gonna lie to you. But there are people who will let me know, because people do watch my comment section. They'll let me know when there's somebody who actually has a genuine question. I'll go and I'll actually look. But you could easily do that. Easily do that. But you just rather make shit up. So don't expect me to be very charitable when you start making shit up about me. because I know I've taken my time and I explain it to you. And if you get mad when I defer to the audience, it's like, okay, I don't know who half these fucking people are. So you can say that they're all people who agree with me. That would be wrong. That would be absolutely wrong. There are people who've contacted me and said, hey, look, you said this is not actually right. You said this is not really clear. You see me looking at my phone, those people send me messages. I have no problem addressing it in the moment or afterwards. So you can't even play that card. You don't even know who's actually in my audience. You have no idea. Other than a few names. You may see a third, maybe a third at the very most, of people who actually watch. Maybe a third. You don't actually know. So how about you apply those wonderful psychic ass abilities that you got and find out who all them people are, and then you can poll them your goddamn self, since you're so incredulous about that. But the easiest thing would be that D-Roy has a hard time understanding when other people make points. Remember, D-Roy, when I did the video, when you told everyone, you offered your summary of that Law and Order episode, and you you omitted a large portion of the following action. After that, it was a court case with the lesbian that supposedly molested the daughter. You completely omitted the part where Dr. Who is it? Dr. Yang? I forget what his name is. Yes, the Asian guy. When he interviewed the girl, they found that it was a medical procedure, and they debunked the false claim that the other lawyer was making. Completely omitted that. Maybe you just forgot it. Maybe that was the case. But have there been other instances where you've made claims of me saying something that I've never actually said? Have you misrepresented something that other people have said? Oh, wait, there was debate with a lady and a panel of other people, and she had referenced minorities in a particular way. Someone in the chat referenced what you were talking about. We went and listened to that, and you took that lady completely out of fucking context. I remember that. Maybe some people, Dr. Wang, thank you. There was someone in the chat who actually knew what you were talking about, and we searched it live. You misrepresented her. So there's a bad habit. There was one with Matt Dillahunty, I think, in S.J. Thompson. You misrepresented Matt. There's a few just choice examples that I can remember where you actively misrepresent people. And the first few times I could say, you know what? Maybe it's just by accident. Maybe it's just coincidence, whatever. But a part of me thinks that you actually do it on purpose. It happens far too often for it to be an accident, in my opinion. I'm becoming less and less convinced that it's just D-Roy's old and complacent and lazy. I think D-Roy's just dishonest to a degree. I think that's a part of it, is that you're just complacent and lazy and ignorant. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's probably not ever going to change. You demonstrate that. But you don't actually invest time and investigate things. You just make presumptions and use D-Roy fucking psychic network to figure out shit. But anyway.
You know, you are a big hypocrite and a fat liar.
Okay.
You came to Facebook to wreck what you think is my life because you think social media is my life. My life does not revolve around social media. Matter of fact, many years ago when I first started Facebook, I gave up on Facebook, and then I came back with a different account.
So I tried to wreck his life on Facebook. That was my goal. Did y'all catch that? I want y'all to remember that. The few people who watch this and people who watch this later, that was my supposed goal. Because him saying that's going to play a role later in a later dialogue. Because I am planning on showing that D-Roy is just dishonest. So there's a reason I keep mentioning why D-Roy won't actually show you all what I told him, what I said, any comments, any of that. He won't actually show it to you, but he'll reference it and he'll make these claims. He knows he's lying.
Okay? I don't need Facebook. I don't even need YouTube. Okay? If I decide to walk away from YouTube or Facebook right now, that's just more time on my hands to do other things. I don't need them.
I don't need them. Life is about contrast.
Here we go. Remember, he's a simple man.
Okay? There is a right side and a wrong side to everything.
Now, if you were here during the beginning of this, you heard me mention that D-Roy is simple. The world we exist in is a world of gray, especially when it comes to morality. I gave the Jews in the attic, the Nazi officer example. So for D-Roy, being the simple man that he is, being a simple-minded individual he is, this is how he views the world. So you can imagine someone with this mentality trying to understand complex interactions that are beyond his capabilities. Keep that in mind.
Okay? What is contrast? Okay, contrast is this. Two sides of a paper. There's a good side and a right side, okay, to everything, okay? Okay, there's a good side and a right side to everything. But if you puke on the floor, how much of that puke, because you ain't a dog, how much of that puke goes back in your body and how much of that gets thrown away? Because you're not a dog. A dog can do that, but you're not a dog. So therefore, whatever you vomit does not get to be contrasted. It all gets thrown away. And that's how I feel about the gay community and any kind of abomination that we commit in America. Okay? It doesn't get a contrast. It gets thrown away. And if you can't throw it away, then you yourself are unqualified. You yourself are a castaway. Because you don't know how to throw sin away. That makes you a castaway. Okay?
I'll tell you what, D-Roy. One of us almost had to stab a gay trick, and one of us didn't. So, let me just contrast that. Okay, one of us has actually served his country, and supposedly loves so much, and one of us hasn't. If you want to draw some contrast, one of us is still married, and one of us isn't. One of us is fairly well educated, and one of us isn't. One of us is the normal height for a male, one of us isn't. I can keep going. I can do this all day. I can do this all day, D-Roy. So if that is the contrast that you want to draw, please, I love this game. It gets better and better the more I think about it.
About contrast. Then Mr. Dragnot threatens me.
Here we go. This is the good part.
But you know what? That's okay. He threatened me by saying, hey, what if I take this YouTube video? Oh, I knew that was coming. Matter of fact, that's why I hurried up and deleted him. But I know what his next move is because, you know, after that last video that I just did where I gave him I really
diagnosed autism,
really gave him a piece of my mind. I know he's coming back. I know he's going to get on YouTube and take it to Facebook. He's going to take one of his friends that are on Facebook and try to smear me on Facebook, and he's not going to be happy.
No.
Until the hex is completed. He's not going to be happy until the hex is completed.
So, just in case y'all aren't friends with me on Facebook, I haven't mentioned him since, actually. I've been talking about, like, coronavirus and, like, putting memes and stuff on Facebook. He's not been mentioned since. Actually, I've not mentioned, even during our interactions, I mentioned him once initially, but after I actually was like commenting on his pictures and stuff like that, I never actually mentioned him again. So I'm not sure really what he's talking about. And again, there are people who have me on Facebook, and y'all can have I actually mentioned D-Roy at all? No. But this is the paranoia that exists in his head. This is what he sits about and thinks about at night. Yeah, so you heard the word threaten, right? And then you heard him mentioning me like polling other people, but then he doesn't actually say anything else about it. There is no threat. This is D-Roy making shit up again. Yeah, he's not a victim, by the way. He's not a victim, but there's a threat. doesn't really tell you what the threat is, mentions me polling someone and asking them about a video, but then he's, yeah.
But it's natural for atheists to make threats and smear people. That is what they do.
Still don't know what the threat
but they
is.
keep trying to act like they have legitimate reasons for doing this shit, and they don't. It's just
He's not a victim.
whatever they're triggered by. I don't know what's triggering them to do this stuff.
He's triggered.
But this is what they've done for years. Since O'Hara, they've been doing this.
No fishy coochie 88. I cannot finish
Stop trying
the
to
survey
act
for you.
like, you know, that it's something else. No, it is what it is.
Is it?
It's crazy how they act like they have no conscience of what they're doing.
No conscience.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't.
You take the
Criminal
survey. Oh.
minds. I'm sick and tired of Criminal Minds.
Go ahead and link it, Fishy Coochie.
You want to
If you
sit
follow me,
there
then
and,
maybe I'll
you
think
know
about
what I mean?
it. We'll see.
Have these weird ideas about Christians. But yet, you got a guy on Criminal Minds that's writing these skits on the show.
Freegiftcards.co.
You're telling me that a guy needs a woman to undress herself so he can hit her upside the head with a pitchfork and then hang her up in the sun to dry for everybody to see. Because he couldn't get a date, or because his mama used to abuse him when he was a kid. Excuse me, but there's more crime on television than there is in the whole frickin' Middle East. Okay? I mean, the Taliban and ISIS ain't that bad.
I'm not sure what he's talking about with
You gonna
this.
cut my head off or not? Okay? There ain't no, I need to sexually assault you without me penetrating you, but I need to crack your head open, okay? And I get off like that. Where are you getting these ideas from? Because you're getting these ideas from people that are in the world, and these same people that create these weird, crazy movies, okay? And they always want to put Christians in there. Oh, well, you know, it was a Christian. He felt that because she was a sinful woman and she committed fornication, he stripped her of her clothes and cracked her skull open. Man, like I said, there ain't that much crime in frickin' Islamabad, okay? Come on, man. Come on.
So I'm not really, like, this is a weird segue in, I guess, his sort of, I guess, issue with people depicting Christians in media. Okay, so there's a nut who just so happens to be Christian and, I guess, validates his maliciousness and violence with religion. That's not uncommon, actually. It's actually a very common theme, even in history. But he wants to contrast that with the crime that happens in Islamic territories. Okay, so that it's not a competition, D-Roy. Sorry, that crime can occur at any frequency at any area. I'm not sure why it has to be contrasted like that, but okay. All right, D-Roy.
Come on.
I don't know what movie or episode he's talking
that
about.
If you're friends of the world, you are enemies of God. So I'm not here to make friends.
Obviously.
I'm not here to make friends.
So that's an interesting claim. Remember, so I think that D-Roy is a lot like G-Man, where he just sort of says things and he doesn't realize that what he says in one instance will reveal more about him in a different arena. And, well, what do I mean by that? If I tell you that I love everybody, but I don't actually actively do anything like that, there's no behaviors that would show you that I actually extend love to other people, you would think that that's suspicious. If I tell you that that I express open bigotry towards different groups of people, but I love everyone, that would be a contrast. You could say that's kind of a bit hypocritical. D-Roy is interesting in that he expresses a lot of these views. Remember when he was speaking about immigrants, right? And that he understood immigrants because of like his passing experience with Asian students at a university that he did fucking security in. Really odd. But he does understand. But then he loves everybody. He loves these immigrants that he meets at the bus stop. These Mexicans. He gave the anecdote about the homeless guy. But he loves them. You know that he wants the best for them. But he's not here to be friends with people. Now I'm not sure. How do you actually form meaningful bonds with people that you supposedly do care for, but you're not really here to be friends, right? This is kind of contradictory to me, because at some point you would have to form a friendly bond with some of these people, these immigrants that you claim to care about. That's what I don't understand here. But I think that because now that the topic has shifted away, he's somewhat revealing more of who he actually is. Because I didn't, when he first said that, I care for everybody. I thought that was bullshit. And I told y'all that's bullshit. His behavior shows that that's bullshit. He's lying. I am calling you a liar, D-Roy. You are lying about that. But here you actually acknowledge what myself and other people can plainly see. Yeah, no, I think that this is true. I think this is the real D-Roy. I think that you would like to believe that you are a better person, that you understand these people that you have these extreme prejudices toward, but you're not. You're just an ingrate. You're absolute fucking cretin. From the shit that you say about immigrants, the women, homosexuals, absolutely fucking cretin. Heinous things. So, I think now you are finally, and we're almost done with this fucking video, like, what, less than 6 minutes left? Less than 7 minutes in this video. And now we're getting to something more honest. Who D-Roy really is at the core.
Atheists are very triggered, but I'm not here to make friends.
Here we go,
okay?
The generalizations again.
But, it seems that Mr. Dragnot is triggered.
Absolutely triggered.
By, I don't know, but something went on in his life that he can't stand for somebody to call themselves a Christian.
I see now that this video is starting to make sense. Where are we at? About 52 minutes in. Something went on in his life to make me who I am. And it sounds like he's trying to find the one event or the one catalyst. And in this video here that I've already reviewed, and he talks about, like, I think somewhere over here, but where I did mention the sexual assault, and that's where he ties everything together. Because for him, what he went through caused him to have a lot of these beliefs. And to be as, well, it is unfortunate. Like, it is actually unfortunate. I'm not going to belabor this point, but D-Roy thinks that because he lets one thing in his life rule over him and to break him as a person and to cause him to mentally fracture, that must happen. Everyone is as weak as D-Roy. And I probably shouldn't even say that, because there are traumatic experiences that some people go through that do break them. And it fundamentally changes and colors the way that they view everything. And depending on the degree of it, it can actually have that effect. I don't think that D-Roy necessarily has that going on. I think that because he is hypersensitive, because of a multitude of things, he has kind of gotten to this point. But for some strange reason, it's just one thing to rule them all. But people are more complicated than that.
I mean, I'd like to meet his mom and dad and ask them what they did to him, because something went on in his life. Okay?
I'd like to meet your gay daughter.
He cannot stand you to talk about your faith in God and call anybody a sinner and point the finger at anybody and say you have sinned.
So I don't actually have an issue with that. And actually, me and my mother do discuss religion. Actually, me and my stepfather discuss religion. That's actually not true. But when you added into the bit of this that can't stand to call somebody a sinner, you know what? I accept that. I think that because when most Christians do that, they point to themselves too. So I think that you misunderstand my issues with you, D-Roy. And this shows a lot of what's wrong with you personally. Again, this is a D-Roy problem. I have to point that out. My issue's with you, D-Roy, not with Christians altogether. I don't. It's not a real whole cloth issue because every Christian's kind of different. My problem is with D-Roy. Let me be very plain. Let me speak very plainly. My problem is with D-Roy. D-Roy is the problem. My problem is with D-Roy. D-Roy is the problem. Not Christians. Oh, not the homogenous group that you think Christians are. My problem is with D-Roy. D-Roy is the problem. Let me know how many times I have to repeat that for you to understand that. If I had a problem with Christians overall, why would I even speak to my parents? Why would she even come on camera with me and do a review of your videos? Let's think for a second, D-Roy. Let's think.
That really triggers him. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I can
does.
understand if I said it to your face out on the street, but on social media, you're scaring me, man. You're really scaring me how you get triggered.
I must be so triggered. Elaine, what's this? Provost? Is that how you say your name? Elaine Provost? The senile midget fantasies compensating his lack of social stature by, I see what you did there, social stature by being a moral juggernaut as proven by his constant indignation. Ooh, I see what you did there, sir. By pretending,
I think
okay, I
if
see.
I was to meet you in person, I have to bring my peace with me because you might try to hurt me. If I tell you one more time that you're spending too much time stalking people on YouTube.
There's that word.
If I tell you one more time that this is your fault, you're the one with the victim complex. If I tell you that one more time, you might, I don't know.
It's these weird, like, he does know that I've met G-Man. Actually, no, I think he thinks that the photo that I have of G-Man, hold on, me choking him, he probably thinks that that's a serious picture. Based on what he just did there. Let me pull this up for y'all. Here. Y'all remember this picture? Here? Yeah. Me and G-Man. He probably thinks that this is a real, you can kind of tell, like, it's staged. It's a staged picture. So that may be where he gets that from.
But I will not change the way I do my videos.
Good.
Hell no. Ain't gonna happen.
Good.
I'm not changing squat. I was thinking about this on the way home from Walmart this afternoon. After I did that last video, and I said, nope. It was like, prayer. I was like, Lord, what, am I feeling some kind of way because I'm doing something wrong? Or am I feeling some kind of way because I'm supposed to feel some kind of way because this is the whole plan? And he showed me it's the whole plan.
This is interesting. Now, of all the criticism that I've given D-Roy here, I think this is an interesting moment because we get to kind of see how D-Roy reevaluates himself. We get to see a little bit. I think this part's honest. A lot of this videos, a lot of bluster, a lot of bullshit, him just making up shit about me, which I'm used to, trust me. But I think this is 100% genuine, 100% sincere. I think this actually happened, and I think he actually did struggle with this internally. But I want people to focus on, or at least understand, you focus on where the fuck you want to, you're grown. Here's what I pick up. You think about what he is tacitly admitting, that what I'm saying does actually impact him. He does understand some of it. What he is taking on board, however, I'm not sure, because he hasn't actually indicated anything specifically that I have said. I don't know what bits and pieces that he has apprehended from this and internalized or rejects. I don't know. But he talks about his feelings, and Shapeshifting Monkey, but feeling some kind of way. Yes. And that is a bit of a euphemism. It's feeling he's a bit ambivalent. I think that's a rough translation. You're feeling a bit ambivalent towards this scenario. You're kind of maybe sort of indifferent. I don't know. That's it's not a perfect translation, but anyway. The indignation's there. The animus is there. He understands that it is there. He's not specifically identifying over what topic, what was said, time frame, none of that. So we don't know. And so he has referenced how he does the videos, not the content, not the rationale. The things that I've spent the most time talking about, we don't have an indication that he's even understood or if he's even referencing it. We don't know.
The whole plan is to make us stop. It's to take away our free speech and our right to dictate, delegate, point the finger, okay? You know, blame others like they blame us. We're not allowed to do that.
So this is interesting. Now, at no point in time have I tried to take away his right to free. I'm not the government. I don't know how I can take that away. But stepdad just told me to read Psalm 91. Okay, thanks. Actually, I will go read this after that. But this is interesting. At no point in time have I actually told him to stop making videos. At no point in time have I tried to take away his right to free speech. Again, I'm not the government. At no point in time does he have any evidence that I've ever even alluded to that at all. But this is a part of the paranoia. This is a part of the victim complex that he has. This is D-Roy, again, making stuff up. Because if you ask him, and feel free, folks, to ask him. Don't, nobody troll him. No. Sincerely, around 54 minutes in, you make the claim that Dragnot's trying to take away your free speech. Where has he actually said that? Is it on Facebook? Is it in a video? Is it hang out with somebody else? Where has he actually said that? And you will watch him turn himself in knots and obfuscate because he knows it's a lie. He knows that he made that up. I've never advocated for that. People have watched me talk about other people. I don't advocate that for Shanny and Rev. I don't advocate that for G-Man. He deserves this stupid fucking platform just like anybody else. This is D-Roy lying.
Okay? But I may not be the smartest, but
Obviously.
I know what's going on here.
He knows.
Okay? You can sit there and keep making videos
He's
defending
conspiracy.
yourself because I'm not pointing a finger at you. But you keep on defending yourself. You go right ahead. But I know what's going on here.
He's smart, folks. He's smart.
I know
Him know.
what's going on here. I don't need to be smart. Any idiot knows what's going on here. You're the one that's an idiot if you think that I'm dumb enough to think that when you tell me that people made videos about me on YouTube and and that I should go look at them, and you think that that's okay, that I should let you stay on my Facebook channel?
So, now think about this, folks. He's not the brightest dude in the world, but you don't have to be smart to see the writing on the wall, to see what's going on. The fact that I told him that Hannibal and Monty, people who are not Dragnot, by the way, that not everyone's an atheist, but we'll leave that alone. Because Hannibal and Monty made a music video about him, and I let him know that ahead of time so that it wouldn't be a surprise. I said, hey, you might want to check it out, give him some feedback. That was essentially the comment that I gave him. I told him I didn't make that. 2 other people who watch you made a music video using your videos and your quotes. That was an indication that I need to be blocked. That's right, folks. Folks. That's the grand wisdom of D-Roy Cruz. Never mind the fact that he's here playing it, that he's told you on multiple occasions that he enjoys the video. He likes it. Take as long as you need to think about that for a second. He is so struggling with his victimhood and his conspiracy and his paranoia that he had to preemptively do that just to satisfy that paranoia that he has. But then struggles with the fact that he actually likes the damn thing. He's even playing it over and over again now. And plays it in a separate video. He's made recent videos. He still plays it. He still likes it. He's actually reached out to Hannibal Monty in I think one video that he's done. And has told them. And Hannibal Monty responded to stuff that he was saying. I want y'all to think about that for a second. Just consider that. How weird that is.
What is a life applications officer? Life applications officer, I'm going to say it one more time, is the person that takes one thing. Mine is the Bible. Okay? Takes one thing and applies everything in life to that one thing. And this is the data master. This is the man's basic instructions before leaving planet Earth. Okay? I apply everything to the basic instructions before leaving planet Earth. Okay? Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. I am your life applications officer, and if I'm not your life applications officer, then stop coming to my channel, because that is my ministry. If I cannot tell you that I am your life applications officer, that's wrong, then you're wrong for coming to my channel. Stop coming to my channel. Stop snagging my videos if you don't want to hear me say I am your life applications officer, because that's what I am. The minute you come to my channel, that's what I am. If I'm not your life applications officer, then what the hell are you doing here?
Somebody's triggered.
You got no reason to be here. Get off my channel then. Don't come in here and tell me how to do my videos. You think you are. You ain't squat.
Oh?
I will continue to be myself. Thank you very much. Because you can't touch this.
So, boy, you put some fire on that one. So, I can't tell you how limited a person would be if they tried to apply one thing or one book to everything that there is in life. There's not one sole book that covers everything in life. I'm sorry, but if I wanted to know how to make the best souffle, I probably wouldn't turn to the Bible. If I wanted to be a great chef, the Bible ain't my book. As many great apologists and theologians have said, there's science within the Bible, but the Bible isn't a science book. There are tons and tons of things that are contained within the Bible, with the 66 books, that cover a myriad of topics, but not everything in the world can be applied to it. That is, I'm sorry, D-Roy, but a really ignorant way of looking at the Bible, a really uneducated way. And this is not me saying that. I'm repeating, again, what theologians and people who have actually studied your theology have said. If some of the ones that you've mentioned, you like to mention William Lane Craig, do you think that he shares your view on that? You might want to go look that up. Why would he have gained the education that he has gained if the only thing that he needed was the Bible? That's interesting. Why are there biblical concordances then? Why are there extra biblical books that give you the backstory history of 1st and 2nd century Christians? Writings of Thomas Aquinas. There's tons of stuff that coincide with the Bible that's outside of it, obviously, that add to an understanding of it. So no, D-Roy, that's even within your own theology, that's not true. Sure, when you talk about basic instructions, what if you want an advanced knowledge on something? It's just something I'm just throwing out there. And this just within the realm of your theology, which you think that you understand. So you made a reference to that's what a life application officer is. That's cute. I think that the fact that you had to make up a title for yourself is really precious. I can't tell you how precious that is. I think it's funny. I absolutely, if that's what helps you sleep at night, go for it, my man. Like, just rock it. I'm still gonna make fun of it because it's silly, but a person who is actually trying to mentor other people and trying to edify others, because I think you had mentioned very early on in our exchanges that that's part of what a life application officer does. A person would be able to use a multitude of tools in order to assist them in that effort. If I'm wrong about that, and because I could have sworn you made a whole video about that, you describing the relationship is like doctor-patient, and I believe you use the word mentorship. So if I'm wrong about that aspect of it, feel free to correct me. But I distinctly remember you saying that. But anyway, yeah, call yourself what you want. It's your prerogative. I am who do I think I am? I'm Dragnot Silvus. You know my real name. Other people know my real name. You know exactly who the fuck I am. So that ain't crazy. You're upset that your videos show up on my channel. Well, why are your videos on my channel? Because my channel is humorous and is dedicated to me pointing out the flaws in other people, including myself, actually. You are one of the many people who's incredibly flawed, but doesn't seem to understand why. You don't understand why you actually get the pushback. Your fatal flaw is so deep that you don't even see it. But you have cloistered yourself and secluded yourself in real life from criticism that people engaging with you in this manner is completely foreign. And granted, I agree. This is a new way of communicating with people, especially across distances. Never in the history of man have we been able to communicate across those distances instantaneously. So it is new, it is novel, but what's not novel are the criticisms toward your character flaws, your mentality. That's not new. It's not novel. In fact, if you want a look on the inside, if you really want to understand how it is that I have the ability to get under people's skin, which I'm pretty sure you've noticed I have a penchant for that. It's very simple, and you can deny this and you can reject it all day long, but this is true. I reflect your behavior. I found that to be the most effective in dealing with G-Man. It's just to simply reflect his behavior. He can't stand himself. You can't stand yourself. I give you criticism just like you give Matt Dillahunty criticism. The only difference is the frequency. That's really the only difference. And that I could say is that accounts for a bit of the animus, because you're not used to having a protracted back and forth with anyone. I get it. That's something that is new to you. It's not new to me. In fact, I've dwelled and I was molded in the YouTube arena by having extended conversations with people for hours. And D-Roy, if you don't, because I don't think you actually understand, I've had these sort of like live talking to someone in real time for hours, days and days, weeks and weeks, every day, every other day, having discussions. So this is easy mode for me, but this, I get it, is something that's new to you. I don't want you to stop making videos. I've never said I want you to just stop making videos, so quit saying that. I want you to keep making fucking videos. I want you to keep expressing the ignorance that you think is because I genuinely do find you fascinating. In the modern age, with access to all this information, you still repeat some of the most inane comments I've ever heard in my life. You understand how to use Google, but don't actually know how to use Google. And that's not to say that you'll gain unlimited knowledge by being able to Google stuff, but you do have access to the same, I guess, library of information that I do, that anyone else does. You could just easily disabuse yourself of a lot of things if you'd actually taken the time to do it. But you sort of curtail your internet, your web searching, your web browsing, and all that kind of stuff to the things that you already think are true. You don't actively challenge your own views. And I find that interesting. But it's not just you, D-Roy. That's not just... and again, this criticism is for D-Roy, not all Christians at all. In fact, there's a lot of atheists that do that. Fine, why is Christianity not true? They do stupid shit like that. So, I think that you mistake my criticism for a lot of stuff. It would help you, and there'd be less... You would... And I could probably say, given my understanding of your schedule, which I will not go into, and what I've noticed when you've been uploading videos, you stay awake at night pretty late. You do work a fairly late shift, and there's a certain amount of time that you have expressed, again, not going in great detail, about how long it takes you to get home, but you were up pretty late making some of these videos. Something tells me you don't go to sleep directly after you make some of these videos towards me. So I surmise that while you are kind of laying there late at night being triggered, this has gotten to you. The fact that you're thinking about it on your way to Walmart and shit like that, it's on your mind. Maybe you need to just take a step back because I lose no sleep over you, G-Man, Shanny Nut. I sleep just fine. So if you need to take a break, do that. You talk about something else, do that. I'm still going to review your shit. But as I've said before, D-Roy, you could actually do the same. I can give you, or you could go on my, like you found this video is probably 7-8 years old. Go find one of my old videos and review it. Go for it. You'll find an easier target 7-8 years ago. You'll find a much harder target now. But it is what it is. It is what it is, my man. Anyway, folks, looks like my woman's asleep. I need to make some phone calls, do some real life stuff. I'll play y'all out. D-Roy has made some videos. Conversation. I don't know why this one here. This conversation part 2. I was listening to it, but I don't remember finishing. I don't know why. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't... Oh, of course Jesus Lord is there. This video here I was listening to in the car. Y'all can't see my cursor. Conversations Part 1, Coronavirus, Facebook. I want to take my time and review that one. Because this one is... That one's less inflammatory. And that's more of a... Because this one is just... It's just shit. It's pure D-Roy fuckery. This video here that I'm done with. But this video here, the Conversation Part 1, Coronavirus, Facebook, this is kind of a random, if y'all been watching me for a while, you know the videos I used to make called Random Musings, and I would play a game, and I would pre-record it, and I would just upload it later, and people could kind of hear my thoughts on social issues, science. I'd tell people what's going on in my life, and I'd just be talking. But this is sort of his version of that. And I've had a kind of a issue with how D-Roy uses the word conversation because it doesn't make sense. And I think in both of these videos, he couches the term conversation. I mean, something very, and I think like a meta dialogue. It would be my best guess as to what he's actually talking about. So I struggle to find a word or a phrase to really encapsulate what he's trying to say. But the best way that he can articulate it is to use the word conversation. That's why I was always confused when he would use that term. So I need a D-Roy lexicon to understand what he's saying. Because it's one thing like to like the misuse word, but there are esoteric meanings that D-Roy has for a lot of terms. And I don't think that he realizes that not everyone has access to his fucking brain, wherever it is. So I want to take my time, listen to that, maybe get some other people's input on it so that I don't misrepresent him, because he makes let me tell you right now, he makes some stupid comments about coronavirus. It's absolutely fucking stupid. but I don't expect him to understand biology, virology, any of that stuff. But there is a part in the video, and I'm almost done with it, that he discusses. I guess I don't want to spoil it. I will say that it's interesting and it's also enlightening, and I'm not saying that ironically. It's a bit enlightening. Anyway, there's a softer mood there for that. So I will D-Roy soundboard. I would have to contact Mr. Buchik. I don't know if he's up for D-Roy soundboard. I don't. I think he's busy doing stuff in real life, and I don't want to bother him with it. But I'll see about talking to him. So, I mean, honestly, it takes a lot of time to make those soundboards, and like he's not getting paid for that. So, we'll see. I'll see but people, like, if he does agree to actually do shit like that, the people need to send him specific timestamps so that he's not sitting there and listening to shit all day. Why are the comments turned off? Dr. Rich, what's going on? I'll listen to that later. Anyway, all right, folks, I will play y'all out if I can find him. There he is.
D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Number one, anyone that's been watching my channel knows that I'm not black conscious. Neither do I, baby, spoil or agree with black people.
I'm so hoarse. Just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Oh, I can breathe.
D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. D-Roy Cruz. Black. Next to every good black person is a fuck.
I just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Yes, I can hear because of all you've done in me. Now that's just a piece of the song.
Look here, you stepped into drag nuts territory. I'm the mob, nigga. D-Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. I'm superior than a lot of blacks because I follow the right culture. D-Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. I've seen these atheists act like a bunch of fags. D-Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. D-Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. A woman flashing her beauty. That's like walking in a room with dog treats. Like, why are you bringing those in here? Are you trying to tease me with treats, or what are you doing?
And even clean
I think women are naive.
because of all
I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he's got a great mind.
you've done
Need watch your mouth. Need watch your goddamn mouth.
in me.
And I'm thinking, brothers, sisters, somebody know this lady. Come get your dog. Like, call off your dog, man. Get her out of here. D-Roy Cruz, your life application officer, signing off. Give me something, and I'll write a video.